It is 1400 Central African time. This is Africa at Play. A very warm welcome. We are together until 5 p.m. Central African time. Coming to you live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are based in South Africa. Alternatively, you can connect with us from any corner of the world on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. Also do make time to download the Channel Africa app if you haven't done so on your iOS and Android. My name is Neto Chemane. Hosiati konyangazi mumkhatshwa phandle kunjani moyani vuguvugu dendele. It is exciting stuff coming your way on Africa at Play. Africa exploits their football stars in big numbers to global leagues such as the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga and others. Although this changes lives of many African players and enhances their careers, plenty leagues across the African continent are still not competitive enough in the brand of football played, and there's no financial muscle to attract good players from the continent to remain in Africa or attract those from global stars to our home soil. Will there ever be change of times where players from Europe, South America and other continents will choose playing their trade in Africa? What are your thoughts? You can drop us a WhatsApp voice note. Let's find out from a sports journalist in Zambia, Wezi Mazunda.
Vision that Africa puts in place, and everybody's working together in football to attract these players to come, because the gap is too wide. Economically, things are hard. I always emphasize on this point is the economic situation in every respective country, what the priorities are right now. What we should be looking at is the infrastructure. Do we have it? Technology advancements in the game, are they available? Do we have proper professionals in this game? Is it organization? Is it professional? Is the system organized, professional, accountable, responsible? Can it work? Some countries may have it. Some few countries are getting there. Some countries it's good. Others can emulate the other countries for the players from this continent to come here. Already it's a struggle for our local players, and it's really sad because everybody now is dreaming of going to play abroad, and that broadens even their chances of playing for their respective national teams. For them to be seen, it's much easier for them to get the chance to play in these competitions. So it's really tricky.
South African golfer Charles Schwartzel is looking forward to raking up some victories in the 2026 Live Golf League, which kicks off next week. Following a lengthy break and having now had a few weeks of preparation under his belt, Live Golf Riyadh will officially get the new season underway from the 4th to the 7th of February. The target for Schwartzel and Southern Guards GC, former known as Stingers GC, is simple: get a couple of wins under the belt, especially on home soil in mid-March.
Every year you start off, it's goals are to win. It's really what we practice for. It is hard to win in I feel in the modern day. There's so many good players. But again, there's somebody who wins every week, and that'll be my main goal, is to see if I can have one or two wins. And then from the team side, I feel very excited about the team. I feel like at this stage, there's 4 guys playing good golf. For like 2 years, it's always somebody. It was me, and then I had some issues, and then I don't swing well, I don't play well. Brandon struggling, and then sometimes our best player, Louis or Dean, me and Brandon would play well, we've been playing bad, and then they play bad. We just had this sort of never really getting it all together. But the last couple tournaments, there was definitely something that sparked, and the guys are starting to play well. And we've been talking during the off season, and everybody's feels in good shape. So I'm excited about our team for this year.
Mamelodi Sundowns coach Miguel Cardoso has suggested fatigue played a significant role in their 2-1 CAF Champions League group stage defeat away to Al Hilal in Kigali on Friday night. A week after being held to a 2-2 draw by the same opponents at Loftus Versfeld, Cardoso felt the hosts were noticeably sharper, capitalizing on what he described as a congested and demanding schedule for Sundowns. Despite the setback, the Portuguese mentor remains confident that the Brazilians can still secure a place in the quarterfinals with 2 group matches still to play.
I remember last year we were unfortunately in a similar situation after the 4th match. We lost that match in Raja the fourth match of the feature, and then we had a difficult match away that we played in Maniema in Congo. This time it's also a tough match to play in Congo against Lupopo, and that's what the team has to. Big teams have to look ahead. But before that match, we still have a cup match on Tuesday. Unfortunately, we played on 3 days ago. Was also clear in a certain moment in the match that the team was much more tired than Al Hilal that just played against us. Despite we changed a few players in the team compared to the previous match, it was clear that we were tired. It's not. Despite it looks quite close, we had to make a trip where we had a stop. It was almost one day traveling, and it was clear in a certain moment that the team was a little bit tired, and you feel that by the number of mistakes that you do. But now is really time to go back home, see who can play the next match on Wednesday, not Tuesday, on Wednesday in the best conditions possible. It's a cup match that for us is obviously very important, and then after that we start thinking about Lupopo's match, of course.
14:07 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we are together until 5 p.m. Central African Time. Do get in touch with us on our different social media platforms at Channel Africa 1 on Insta, X, YouTube, TikTok and Facebook. Also do get in touch with us by downloading the Channel Africa app if you haven't done so on your iOS and Android to have an awesome Channel Africa experience from an African perspective. Let's update you about the different sporting fixtures that are scheduled for this weekend. Action took place yesterday in week 11 of 18 in the United Rugby Championship URC. Benetton and Scarlets produced an intriguing brand of rugby playing to a 20-all draw, while Glasgow Warriors defeated Munster by 31-22, and these matches took place yesterday. There are a number of fixtures scheduled for today, starting at 14:30 with a match between the Lions and the Bulls. We can expect nothing but fireworks on this one as the two giants meet. Then at 5 p.m. there's two matches. It is a match between Sharks and Stormers, while Zebra takes on Connacht. And then at 19:30 it will be a match between Leinster taking on Edinburgh, while Ulster takes on Cardiff Rugby, and this one is at 21:45. Another match happening at the same time is Ospreys taking on Dragons, and that match is also taking place at 21:45. Let's also look at a number of football matches that are slated for this weekend that are taking place on the African continent and different parts of the world. There are matches that are scheduled for today. Match day 24 of 38 at 5 p.m. Central African Time. Leeds United takes on Arsenal FC, the Gunners of London, while Wolverhampton Wanderers still at the basement of the Premier League. They will be fighting for nothing but glory against AFC Bournemouth, and that match is also at the same time. Another match at 5 p.m. is Brighton and Hove Albion taking on Everton FC. Then at 19:30 it will be Chelsea the Blues taking on West Ham United, the Hammers, and there's a match at 10 p.m. Central African Time between Liverpool FC, You'll Never Walk Alone, taking on Newcastle, the Black and White, at 10 p.m. Then tomorrow action continues from 4 p.m. A match between Aston Villa, the Villains, taking on Brentford FC, the Bees, while Manchester United takes on Fulham FC, also at 4 p.m. Another match at the same time tomorrow is Nottingham Forest, the Tricky Trees. They've got a date with Crystal Palace, and then there's a match between Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester City at 18:30 Central African Time. To wrap up the weekend that is a match scheduled for Monday the 2nd of February at 10 p.m. between Sunderland and Burnley, and that's the match that will be wrapping up match day 23 of the Bundesliga. Let's also go of the Premier League rather. It is now 14:10 Central African Time. When we come back, we'll update you on more fixtures taking place this weekend. This is Africa at Play. Thank you for listening.
Ritmos e Cultura com Neto Chemane.
Fiéis ouvintes do Ritmos e Cultura, hoje em linha com uma das grandezas da música moçambicana, porque não, ele que é um dos kings da marrabenta, Mater Muda in the building.
É um prazer enorme estar a fazer parte deste programa. Deixe-me saudar boa tarde a todos os ouvintes que me ouvem neste preciso momento. Meu nome é Uma Bermuda, já lá o Fanelo Estarapo, gajo de água da Fanhela é mais piscado. Eu vou saudar de uma maneira diferente. Ah, tita buia, manango, tiduma te fica guiane. Ah, tita buia, manango, tiduma te fica guiane. Ani motive lo ababa yena otiva mina haikonama. Ani motive lo anona yena otiva wahimbo wadwa. Cá estou eu, irmão, para conversarmos, para falarmos um pouco de tudo. Estou aqui, estou aberto. Eu estou muito feliz porque é a primeira vez que eu falo nesta rádio, falo para os ouvintes, então estou muito feliz.
Ritmos e cultura com Jacob Chemane. Todos os domingos, das 20 às 21 horas.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
14:11 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. Let's update you about the Bundesliga fixtures in Germany. They say football as it's meant to be. Match day 20 of 34 kicked off yesterday in a match between FC Köln and Wolfsburg. FC Köln winning this one by a narrow 1-0 victory. Today there's a number of matches scheduled. Eintracht Frankfurt will be up against Bayer Leverkusen, the 2024 champions of the Bundesliga, at 16:30 Central African Time. At the same time, there's Werder Bremen taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach, while Hoffenheim takes on FC Union Berlin, also at 16:30. FC Augsburg meets FC St. Pauli, also at the same time. Then Red Bull Leipzig, also known as RB Leipzig, will be up against FSV Mainz, and a match scheduled for 19:30 will be between Hamburger SV taking on Bayern München, the dominating force in the Bundesliga, the only outfit that has triumphed the Bundesliga on many occasions than any other outfit in the Bundesliga. VfB Stuttgart meets SC Freiburg tomorrow at 16:30, while at 18:30 it will be Borussia Dortmund taking on Heidenheim, and that match is happening tomorrow to wrap up match day 20 of 34 in the Bundesliga. Let's now check the fixtures of the Betway Premiership in South Africa, where there's action continuing this weekend before we get to the following weekend that is scheduled for the Nedbank Cup. But for this weekend, there's a match between Chippa United and Durban City Eastern Cape Stadium in Soweto, while Polokwane City meets Orbit College from the Northwest Province, and that match is also at 1800 at the old Peter Mokaba Stadium in Polokwane rather, while TS Galaxy meets Sekhukhune United on Sunday the 1st of February, that is tomorrow, at 15:30 at the Mbombela Stadium in South Africa's Mpumalanga Province. Amazulu FC will take on Orlando Pirates on Tuesday the 3rd at 19:30 at the Moses Mabhida Stadium. And there's more fixtures that are happening in different parts of the world. Let's also look into the Nigerian Premier League, where action continues as the teams are looking for nothing but the ultimate glory. There's matches that are slated for tomorrow, and it is match day 24 of 24. Enyimba will be up against Bayelsa United, and this match is at 5 p.m. Central African Time. More matches at the same time. Remo Stars takes on Plateau United, while Enugu Rangers meets Kano Pilias FC, and Niger Tornadoes will be up against Bendel tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central African Time. Then at 17:30, Katsina United takes on Abia Warriors, while on Monday the 2nd of February, to wrap up the weekend that was, it will be El Kaneni Warriors up against Kune Caliphate FC, and these are matches of the Nigerian Premier League. Let's also check the Kenyan Premier League, where action continues today, and there's more matches that will be happening in the coming weeks as well. Matches that are slated for today: Kakamega Homeboys takes on Mara Sugar this afternoon, while Matara United are up against KCB. Then Komahia meets Sofapaka at 1500 Central African Time. Then match day 20 of 34 in the Kenyan Premier League KPL will be on Friday the 6th of February at 3 p.m. Central African Time. Matara United versus Tusker. Then Bidco United takes on Kakamega Homeboys on Saturday the 7th of February at 12 midday Central African Time. Then at 2 p.m. it will be Bandari up against AFC Leopards, while Posta Rangers takes on Shabana, and KCB will have a meeting with Kariobangi Sharks. Sofapaka takes on Moranga's Seal on Sunday the 8th of February. APC Bomet takes on Komahia on Sunday the 8th of February, also at 2 p.m. with action continuing on the same day between Ulinzi Stars and Kenya Police at 3 p.m. While to wrap up the weekend, it will be Nairobi United taking on Mara Sugar, and that match will be on Monday the 9th at 1500 Central African Time. Let's also check the matches that are happening in the world of cricket with the Proteas also in action, both women and men. Let's check those fixtures that are happening today and more matches that are still coming up. As you know, that cricket is played in different fixtures. In a match between South Africa and West Indies, that match is happening today at 1800 Central African Time with action continuing. ICC Men's T20 World Cup warm-up matches, T20 10 of 16. It will be India taking on South Africa on Wednesday the 4th of February at 15:30 Central African Time. More warm-up matches will continue at T20 World Cup group stage, T20 9 of 55. South Africa will meet Canada, and that match is happening on Monday the 9th of February at 15:30 Central African Time. T20 World Cup group stage, T20 13 of 55. South Africa will meet Afghanistan on Wednesday the 11th of February, while in another match that is T20 24 of 55, it will be a match between New Zealand and South Africa. There's never a dull moment when the two nations meet. Then action will continue in T20 34 of 55. South Africa taking on the United Arab Emirates, shortened for UAE. Then New Zealand will meet South Africa on the 15th of March, T21 of 5. Then T22 of 5, New Zealand will meet South Africa on the 17th of March, and that match is kicking off at 3:45 a.m. Central African Time. New Zealand meeting South Africa on T23 of 5, and that match is on the 20th of March at the same time. Then it will be a match between New Zealand and South Africa kicking off on the 22nd of March with T25 of 5, wrapping up the proceedings on the 25th of March between New Zealand and South Africa. It is 49 Central African Time. We take a short break. When we come back, All Things Africa at Play continues.
Across Africa, communities rise with the promise of clean water and clean sanitation. The African Union's 2026 theme calls us to action.
It's about mobilizing real commitments, securing climate-resilient water and sanitation projects, and ensuring that water becomes a driver of sustainable development and prosperity across the continent.
A landmark moment, not only for Africa, but for the global movement for access to safe water for all.
Assuring sustainable water availability for every home, every village, every nation. This is the Africa we want.
Channel Africa, the African perspective.
From football fields to finish lines,
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
14:20 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. We are now heading to Lusaka, Zambia, where our correspondent Namuchana will unpack today's topic, and you can share your thoughts with us on the number 083-288-6684, and you can respond to the big question: will there ever be change of times where players from Europe, South America and other continents will choose playing their trade on the African continent? Please do drop us your thoughts on WhatsApp or voice note. But for now, let's head to Lusaka.
Africa exports its football stars in big numbers to global leagues such as the English Premier League, Spanish La Liga, and Germany's Bundesliga and others. Although this changes lives of many African players and enhances their careers, plenty of leagues across the continent are still not competitive enough with the brand of football played, and there is no financial muscle to attract players from the continent to remain in Africa or attract global stars to our soil. We are asking, will there be change of times where players from Europe, Southern America, and other continents will choose plying their trade in Africa? This is our topic today, and I have with me Isaac Chipatanga, soccer expert. Isaac, will there be any time that we are going to see players from Europe, Southern America, and other countries choosing to ply their trade on the African continent?
This is a very, very important question, for African football to try and understand. Now, first and foremost, you must look at the reasons why African players decide to go to Europe and ply their trade in Europe or in some of the bigger leagues across, Asia, if you're talking about China, Middle East, if you're talking about the Saudi Pro League, and so on and so forth. It all boils down to money. Now, the fact that majority of, the African players come from very disadvantaged or poor, humble beginnings means that if they get an opportunity to better their lives, to better their families' lives by virtue of them plying their trade in Europe, which arguably is going to offer better financial packages, whether this is through actual salaries or bonuses and so on and so forth, I think you'll be a fool if you're an African player and you do not take. And this is one of the top reasons why, players move. The other reason is obviously brand exposure. I mean, the reputation that you get for plying your trade in the top European leagues, plying your trade in the Champions League, in the UEFA Champions League, and so on and so forth is huge. Now, if you're looking into matters of, financial packages, these days players themselves know that by plying their trade in Europe, let's say, for instance, you're playing Real Madrid in the case of Brahim Diaz, you're playing for Liverpool in the case of Mohamed Salah, and so on and so forth. The reality is social media is here to stay. Those brands are definitely enhanced further if you're playing for a European club. And by, having a big audience or following on social media platforms, you're likely to get what we call endorsements in world football or in generally world sports, which is huge potential to even triple or quadruple your earnings as a sports athlete. Remember that as a footballer, your career is very short. So you want to maximize in terms of how much money you can get. Now, there are big international corporations, organizations that are willing to spend millions and millions, on brands that have got a huge, following out there on social media, because everybody is on social media. Clients of this potential, international company are on social media. So as a result, they're looking for football players who have got the biggest following on these social media platforms. And as a result, the truth of the matter is that, when you're playing in Europe, you get more exposure. The leagues, the EPL, for instance, is televised in more than 200 countries across the world. If you're doing well, you're Mohamed Salah, you're scoring week in, week out with Liverpool, you're going to have millions of, followers across the world. And this is exactly what, international corporations, organizations are looking at. The truth of the matter is that whilst football, and this is another very, very important, reason why, football players leave infrastructure and facilities that we have on the African continent. Whilst we acknowledge the fact that, football is a short career, by the time you're 35, 36, maybe even 40, let's put it that way, you're retiring from playing active football at the highest level. But the truth of the matter is that when you're playing on the African continent, because of the infrastructure, which is not the best, facilities which are not the best, you're likely to get injured. You're likely to reduce, because of those injuries, the constant injuries, you're likely to reduce even that, playing time to probably even 30 years instead of, going up to 35 or even 40. Now, going to play in Europe with the best, scientists, nutritionists, dietitians, or all sorts of, medical expertise that are enhanced and so on and so forth, you prolong your career as a football player. And as a result, because you prolong your career, you are able to get lucrative contracts for a longer period of time and so on and so forth. Because when, clubs are making a signing, they're looking at all other issues, including the history of how many times you've gotten injured and how injury prone you are, because that has got a direct impact in terms of the longevity of the contract that they can offer you. And that has got a direct bearing in terms of the amount of money and revenue that you can earn during your career. So these are some of just the top reasons why players do find themselves plying their trade in Europe or in Asia, because of those reasons that I've outlined. But there are a few cases on the African continent. For instance, I know that in South Africa, they've got Salis currently on their books, Allende on their books. But this is just one case out of 1 million cases across the African continent. Let's not lie to ourselves. There are a few clubs on the African continent because of their model, like, for instance, Mamelodi Sundowns, which has a billionaire in the Motsepe family and Dr. Patrice Motsepe, obviously having still ties, even though he's Confederation of African Football, president to the club, means that he can shelve out, salaries or paychecks which are close to even European, what the European clubs are paying. But let's be honest, the majority of clubs on the African continent don't have such a model, and that is where the biggest problem is. The other reason is how African clubs, leagues have branded themselves more like a charity case. I mean, let me give an example. If you're MTN and you're sponsoring a club that can't even fill up a stadium of, let's say, 10,000 people, what's the point of MTN sponsoring that club? The broadcast deals that have been done by some of these leagues, some of them on the African continent don't even have broadcast deals. In Zambia, where I come from, currently it's now 3 weeks we haven't seen domestic football on our screens because of a dispute between the broadcaster and the production company. So there are all these teething problems, meaning that if you're a company like MTN sponsoring a club that has a 10,000 capacity stadium, it means that you're only getting value for your money during that 90 minutes. And even that 90 minutes, how many of those fans that go into that stadium can actually buy some of the gadgets or the cell phones that MTN is selling on the market? So I mean, it doesn't make sense for an MTN, as an example, to sponsor a club like that. They would rather put their money in a different sporting venture, maybe helping broadcasters like SuperSport acquire, let's say, broadcast rights for international competition where they know that the entire continent will be watching. This is millions rather than a few thousands at the best in terms of sponsoring a club, and so on and so forth. So for me, we are far from attracting the top European clubs to ply their trade on the African continent because of the way we have projected ourselves, the way we have presented ourselves to the corporate world, more of a corporate social responsibility rather than being a business partner. And that is the biggest problem that African football does have. And as a result, the revenue is just not enough to come into the coffers of either clubs or domestic leagues or FAs to, attract the best or top European, talents to trade Europe and to come into Africa to ply their trade. So that's basically what my thoughts are on this particular topic, which is very, very interesting. Will there ever be a change of times where players from Europe, South America, and other continents will choose plying their trade on the African continent? I think maybe not in our lifetime, but hopefully in the next generation to come.
Isaac, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us. The views of soccer expert Isaac Chipatanga. I also have with me Wezi Mazunda. Wezi, as always, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us today. Wezi, will there ever be a time in our lifetime where players from Europe, Southern America, and other continents will choose plying their trade on the African continent?
Sad to say, it's not going to be now. Not going to be now. If we plan, yes, it can happen. It can happen if we plan properly. A vision that Africa puts in place, and everybody's working together in football to attract these players to come, because the gap is too wide. Economically, things are hard. I always emphasize on this point is the economic situation in every respective country, what the priorities are right now. What we should be looking at is the infrastructure. Do we have it? Technology advancements in the game, are they available? Do we have proper professionals in this game? Is it organization? Is it professional? Is the system organized, professional, accountable, responsible? Can it work? Some countries may have it. Some few countries are getting there. Some countries, it's good. Others can emulate the other countries for the players from this continent to come here. Already it's a struggle for our local players, and it's really sad because everybody now is dreaming of going to play abroad, and that broadens even their chances of playing for their respective national teams. For them to be seen, it's much easier for them to get the chance to play in these competitions. So it's really tricky. But for this to happen, of course, we can never give up hope. It's a matter of planning. You start planning, you sit down as organizers, as FAs, you take this plan to the respective government, sit down with government and other stakeholders and come up with a plan or a strategy to bring these players to come and play back home. Mostly make your league lucrative, put more money, invest, get a lot of investment. I mean, at the end of the day, it should make the life of these footballers better if they have to come and play in such environments. But why make it better for someone who's out there, South America, Europe, to bring them here when you don't make life better for your own people who are leaving to go that side? So who's going to make that dream come true? So it's the very ones who are here who can work together, put their ideas together and work together. And those who have left, I think they also need to put an input. Those who've done so well, the great players who've gone to make it out there, they should also plow back to their countries, their communities, come up with funds, invest back home to make sure that the leagues are much better. It may not be for them having working in a better environment back in Africa, but they'll pave way for the future generation. The young players will not feel like going out there, but remaining back in their countries and making money from their countries and continuing to develop their countries. We cannot give up hope. We need to believe as Africa. We need to work hard. We need to focus. If we do these three things, then eventually it will happen. But now, in this generation, no. Let's work to support the next generation to drive it. Like I've said, a few countries maybe up north are trying to sustain this, but or have a plan or maybe a future model to see that happening. But it would be better to see the whole Africa doing the same thing. Football is good money. Football is good money. You need to be patient. You need to build your wealth, make it a billionaire brand so that the wealth remains here in Africa. We share it, we support each other, and grow the dream. We can never give up hope.
Wezi, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
The views of soccer analyst Wezi Mazunda. We were looking at something that has to do with the foreign players on the African continent, and we were asking, will there be change of times where players from Europe, Southern America, and other continents will choose playing their trade in Africa? This was our topic. We had the Isaac Chipotanga, soccer expert, and the sports analyst Wezi Mazunda. For Channel Africa Sport, Namchana from Zambia.
Thank you to Namachana and to the pundits who reacted to our topic of the day, where we're looking at the reality of African football and asking the big question to say a lot of African players are heading to different parts of the world and joining leagues at that side. And we're asking, will there ever be a time where players from different parts of the world can come and ply their trade on the African continent because of competitiveness that they can also get on the African continent? But with challenges like lack of financial muscle, sponsorships, and many other factors, it will take a long time to get to that point. It's time for some awesome African music. Kolokoko, which is a song by Pato Ranking featuring Diamond Platinums, and we will also play you the Vanessa remix by Pison featuring Inoso B. This is Africa at Play.
Keep Africa in your hands. Connect to our website for all your news, sports, and cultural updates. channelafrica.co.za.
My love is bigger than the ocean. On your skin like a lotion. Loving you is my devotion. Give you girl full potion. Oh my beautiful addiction. With a sweet vibration. The two of we is a vision. Anytime I slip your name I dimension. So tell me girl where you there. Just me I go let the fire blaze. Anytime you want your ways. Watch out the man them they craze. Hey man, tell me where you there. Girl, I've been loving you for days. Anytime you wind up your waist. All of the man them they craze. Baby, I dey colo for your love. I dey mad for your love. Baby, I dey colo for your love. I dey mad for your love. Your love, your love, your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. Come give it to me, baby.
Platinums. Nini sasa. Me, I'm giving thanks to the Creator. Your mama born you well better. Nyuma kama funga utoneta. Kinavyo pepe kimweta. Oh na na. Body sanyonga makiliti. Odi na gonga za mendichi. Usinichomeka kidonda na spiriti. Mimi unge taumia. Baby, you got me falling in love. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey Mona Lisa, my teaser. Hope you might be reason whenever your body give me fever. I done the shiver, hold me tight. One in my knees.
Baby, I dey colo for your love. I dey mad for your love. Baby, I dey colo for your love. I dey mad for your love. Your love, no no. Your love, no no. Your love, your love, your love, no no. No no. Your love, your love. Come give it to me, baby.
Baby, I dey colo, eh. Colo, baby, I dey colo, eh. Baby, I dey colo, eh. Baby, I dey colo, eh.
Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
Enough.
Niache, nipike niache, Vanessa lini trompaka, anarudia tena. Niache, nipike niache, Vanessa lini landaka, anarudia tena. Vanessa, nini inakuleta, nini ulisabwaka, nini inakuleta. Vanessa, nini inakuleta, nini ulisabwaka, nini inakuleta.
Oshininga bambongo, obimi singa yuma, oyoki singa soni, nini lisusu oye koluka. Vanessa we, ule ulienda kaingekuwa, pilinasa aungerudi kunililia. Mese kujali, I'm so busy with my new wifey. Mese kotake, I'm busy enjoying my life. Nikaduru, kanenda kanarudia. Nikaduru, kanenda kana.
Vanessa, nini inakuleta, nini ulisabwaka, nini inakuleta. Vanessa, nini inakuleta, nini ulisabwaka, nini inakuleta.
Ahoy, matey.
Captain here to help, right, boys?
Set sail with us on a digital voyage like no other. Channel Africa has a treasure trove of awesomeness. That is our website and social media pages.
Tell me, why are you here?
We want you to be part of our adventure.
The winds are changing, Captain. And this time...
Imagine a world where curiosity knows no bounds, where entertainment meets enlightenment, and where every click leads to the African perspective. Visit us on our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, or follow us on Instagram or On X at Channel Africa 1. Go on, like us on Facebook at Channel Africa 1. So, spread the word. Tell a friend that Channel Africa's online variety is what they need on the web. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
14:40 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us, as we also welcome our correspondent from Southern Africa, based in Lusaka, Zambia, Namuchana. Mr. Namuchana, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sandy. Good afternoon to all our listeners on a sunny and bright day in Lusaka. Very hot here.
Yeah, it is that time of the year. If it's not rain, it's too much heat. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about the Zambia national futsal team that is heading to Ghana for their first leg, final round of the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers against the host this coming Tuesday, the 3rd of February 2026.
Yeah, Neto, this is the team actually that has been making Zambia proud on the international stage. And I have no doubt in my mind that they are going to defeat Ghana on Tuesday because they have a good team. They have a good coach in Andrea Cristoforetti, who has been coaching the team for some time now. So I have absolutely no doubt that they are going to triumph. And how I wish this is the team that the Zambian government should have been feeding heavily because they have never disappointed this country before, Neto. The Zambia futsal team, it is a team that has been assembled well. They play, when you watch them, they are a marvel to watch, Neto, just to say the least. They mesmerize people. They play well. They coordinate well. What more with their coach? We saw tactical. So I'm not expecting them to go and lose in Ghana unless otherwise. But they are going to make this country proud, Neto.
Is it an advantage to play away during the qualifiers like the current one for the Africa Cup of Nations, where they will be playing in Ghana first before they return home to welcome the Ghanaians?
No, Neto, I don't think so. Because when you follow modern sport, Neto, home advantage doesn't come into play these days. It all goes to preparations. How well do you prepare for the match? You can be playing at home, but if you didn't prepare for it, you are going to lose, Neto. So it all goes back to the issue of preparations. How good is your team? Have you prepared tactically? Are you mentally and physically fit for the same match? So to me, that is what matters most in modern sport. So, like I said in my preamble, Neto, I have no doubt this is the team that has been playing well. They have gelled together for some time now. Players know each other, and they take their game seriously. And I have no doubt, like I've said in my mind, they are going to triumph. But we are not underrating Ghana here. I'm sure even them, they have done the same. They have prepared for the Zambians. And the best team surely will triumph in Accra on Tuesday.
Mr. Namuchana, we've got a hot topic on the table where we're zooming into the space of African football players who are always heading to different parts of the world looking for good deals when it comes to their contracts as the pitch personnel. Will we ever witness a scenario in our lifetime where there's change of situations where players from different parts of the world are now heading to Africa and choose Africa as their destination where they want to ply their trade of football? We all know the challenges on the African continent where there's no financial muscle and even the brand of football played is not to that level that matches, let's say, the Premier League, La Liga and the Bundesliga. Are we ever going to witness foreign players coming to Africa as their choice of destination?
No, not in our lifetime, Neto. I don't think so. We have spoken on this program several times that Africa lacks a sports infrastructure. We are still lagging behind when it comes to sports infrastructure. We are not we are not a continent that is financially powerful. So for you to attract these foreign football players to come to Africa, Neto, it takes a lot. Okay, I don't think that there is any European player, Neto, who would want to leave Europe with their facilities, nice infrastructure, to come and play in our stadiums that are not well developed. So I'm foreseeing a trend that will continue even for the next 50, 60, 70, even up to 100 years, where African players will continue trooping to Europe and other places. I'm not seeing a situation where players from Southern America, Europe, Asia, coming to play in Africa. We need to do more, Neto. This is what we've been saying. For you to attract good players, you need to have good incentives for them. Okay? How much are you willing to pay them? Are your football pitches up to standard? How is your infrastructure like? Okay? Most of our infrastructure, like here in Zambia, just to say the least, all of them are just in a sorry sight, if I can use that word. We are still very far, Neto. We need to do more, and Africa hasn't been investing so much into sports infrastructure. I can only talk of South Africa, Nigeria, I think Morocco, Egypt. Yeah, these are the only countries on the African continent that can attract foreign players out there to come and play in their leagues. And already we know that the South African League has got one or two players who are playing in the South African League who are not Africans. But why is it that other African countries are failing to do so? We are going to continue to see the same thing. Yes, we are going to continue having a situation where maybe Kenyans would come and play in Zambia, then Zambians they trek to South Africa, and South Africans they go and play in Nigeria. Nigerians they will sign contracts with Egyptian clubs. Yes, that one will continue. We will continue trading amongst ourselves in terms of football. But for us to attract a cream de la cream of European football to come down to Africa, I think it won't happen now. We need to do a lot. We need to invest more into infrastructure, and on top of that, the football players are expensive to sign now, Neto. You are aware, for example, that in England we have got players that are getting £400,000 per week. Which African team, which African football club can manage to get, let's say, Bruno Fernandes, for example, price away from Manchester United, bring him into Africa? At Manchester United, he's getting $400,000. But are we able, which Zambian club is able to pay him that much, Neto? So it is a pipe for now, but it can be done. It's just the political will. If we are going to have political leaders who have so much interest in sport, this thing can be done in future.
14:50 Central African Time. That's the voice of our Southern African correspondent, Namuchana, all the way from the beautiful city of Lusaka in Zambia. So Namuchana, please do stay on the line. We take a short break. We will wrap up our conversation shortly.
nkhanza zokhudza amuna ndi azimayi kapena kuti gender-based violence GBV zikuwononga miyoyo komanso kuphwasula midzi. Zikuchitika m'manyumba, m'masukulu, malo ogwirira ntchito ndipo kwambiri mwakachetechete. Koma sizikuyenera kupitirira. Mukazimva yankhulani. Ngati mwakhuzidwa funani chithandizo. Chifukwa kusachita chilichonse sikuthandiza. Mverani kuma wireless onse 14 a SABC kuchokera lachitatu pa 23 mwezi uno wa Julai kuti mumve zokambirana, malangizo, masewero, zionetsero za maphunziro ndi mafunso okhuza nkhanza za amuna ndi azimayi ndi akatswiri, anthu opulumuka ku nkhanzazi, kukhazikitsa lamulo komanso dziko lonse lokhuzidwa ndi nkhanzazi. Zonsezi pa wireless yomwe mumayikonda ya SABC. Imbirani pa nambala 0800 428 428 kuti munene za nkhanzazi kapena kupeza chithandizo. Nkhanza zokhuza amuna ndi azimayi zimatha ndi inu. Uthenga ukufikani kuchokera ku SABC.
Midday vibes, great programming, and good company. This is Channel Africa.
14:51 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we still have Namuchana, our correspondent from Lusaka, Zambia, on the line. So Namuchana, what's the latest in the Copper Queens camp?
Yeah, the latest is that they are preparing for WAFCON. The local camp was called by Hora Hope to, and so far they're training well. The other day, we went to watch them. I think they're in good spirit. Though Nora Hope to told the media, she said, "Look, I would love to take the team for a proper training in Dubai." And the Football Association of Zambia have been told that promised that trip to Dubai. They're still waiting to see if they are going to fly to Dubai. And she said the morale in the camp is so high, and she believes this is the time for the Copper Queens to go and lift WAFCON in Morocco in March. So we just wait to see if the Football Association of Zambia they are going to honor that pledge of taking the Copper Queens outside the country for camping. But for now, Neto, the team is still here. Don't know when they are going to fly out of this country. Yeah, so we just continue waiting. And before we even forget, Neto, there is a big match and everybody is waiting to hear the results from Nigeria. You are aware Power Dynamos, the Zambian champions, they flew out of this country the other day, and they are taking on Rivers United in the Cup Champions League. And you know, Neto, that both teams, they drew nil at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium some few days ago, and now they have gone into a rematch in Nigeria. So we just wait to see if Power Dynamos will be able to overcome Rivers United in Nigeria, with so much at stake, because Power, if they were to win that match against Rivers United, and surely they'll sit on 4 points, and they'll hope that they win their last two games to qualify to the next stage in it. So otherwise, this is where we are, and the country is a bit quiet, and we just wait to see how the Copper Queens will represent this country at the fourth coming WAFCON in Morocco.
You've touched on the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium, which I believe is overutilized, while on the other side, I've seen disturbing images earlier this week of the current state of the Hero Stadium in Lusaka, which looks to my eyes like there's no maintenance of any kind, not even cutting the grass on the outside of the stadium to keep the facility in good standings, but also the actual pitch is not looking good to my eyes. Is this the real scenario, or was I just dreaming seeing these images?
Yeah, Neto, this is the real situation that we have in Zambia. And it's over 2 years now. The Zambian government has been promising that they're going to renovate the Heroes Stadium. And up to now, we don't know what is happening. The last time they told this country that they had awarded a contract to a company from Mauritius, which was worth about $45 million to rehabilitate the Heroes Stadium, which is the country's biggest stadium in terms of capacity, because it has got 60,000 capacity. But for now, Neto, the playing surface is not there. It was completely ripped off by the government. So even as I'm talking to you now, there is nothing that is there. The outside surroundings of the stadium is a sorry sight to the Neto. And even the roof itself, it is nothing to write home about. This is what we have been saying all along. Why is it that Africa fails to maintain its sports infrastructure? I don't think, and I believe in my heart, that the Zambian government cannot fail to find even $50 million or even $100 million to renovate Heroes Stadium here in Lusaka. It is something that is so heartbreaking, and we only hope the principals at the Ministry of Sports, through the Zambian government and everyone involved, including the National Sports Council of Zambia and the Football Association of Zambia, FAS, let them act and act quickly before that stadium collapses just right in front of our eyes. And you're aware, Neto, this is the stadium that was built by the late President, Mr. Neto Chemane, and it was a gift from the government of China, because the Zambian government went and pleaded with the Chinese government, say, please, can you help us with the sports infrastructure? So both Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Ndola, which is a 41,000 seater capacity, and Heroes Stadium in Lusaka, these were free gifts that were given to us by the Republic of China. But look at what is happening just few years down the line. We are failing to maintain them. It is really sad, Neto.
It is a sad state of affairs, I must say, and I'm hoping that the principals of these kind of facilities can do something about it, because it's one thing complaining that you do not have adequate infrastructure and facilities, and even when a foreign country comes on board to help you achieve that, then you fail with the basics, which is maintenance. And with our topic of the day on the table, it means that, like you've rightfully said, that there will never be a situation in our lifetime where players from abroad like South America, Europe and Asia will consider applying their trade on the African continent versus going to the usual destinations like the United Kingdom in the Premier League, La Liga in the Spanish League, the French League in France, as well as the Bundesliga in Germany and many other competitive leagues one can think of. Namachana, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. Let's hope that the principals will attend to this issue of facilities and infrastructure that are not maintained while overutilizing other facilities that are maintained. And one is wondering what kind of criteria is being utilized to take care of the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium but fail to renovate the National Hero Stadium.
Yeah, thank you so much, Neto. We all hope that those who have been charged with the responsibility of running this country on behalf of citizens, one day they are going to wake up and renovate Heroes Stadium. It is something that is so disappointing, because this is the time, Neto, that Africa is planning to bid for the 2028 African Cup of Nations. If Zambia was serious, they could have gone to SAFA to say, look, we have got two beautiful stadiums. We can also co-host alongside you, Neto.
Indeed. 14:59 Central African Time. That brings us to our wrap-up of our conversation with Namuchana, and also concludes the first hour of Africa at Play, where we also got to unpack our topic of the day from the Zambian team. Namuchana, together with the pundits in Zambia, Wezi Mazunda, an award-winning sports journalist included, talking about the current state to say, will there ever be change of times where players from different parts of the world will opt to come and ply their trade on the the African continent and also have good players from the African continent deciding to remain in Africa and not going abroad. But Isaac Chipatanga also raised a solid point to say a football career is very short. As a result, the players are looking for better deals because they know they are not going to play football forever. 1500 Central African time, but goodbye, good hour as we head to the second hour.
Catch your latest scores and sports highlights. Stay tuned to Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
1500 Central African time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, do get in touch with us on our different social media platforms at Channel Africa 1 on X, Insta, Twitter and Facebook, as well as YouTube and Facebook. It is time for sports news, starting with rugby news. The Blitzboks stormed to the top of Group A at the Singapore Sevens with a 33-12 victory over Great Britain today. South Africa struck first through Donovan Don, but trailed 12-7 before Tristan Lade's try on the stroke of halftime turned the tide. Shilton van Wyk, Rian Oosthuizen and Sebastian Job all crossed in the second half to seal a commanding victory. Earlier, the Blitzboks edged Spain 21-14, setting up a decisive pool clash against Fiji at 1:46 p.m. Central African time. In golf news, South African golfer Charles Schwartzel is looking forward to raking up some victories in the 2026 Live Golf League, which kicks off next week. Following a lengthy break and having now had a few weeks of preparation under his belt, Live Golf Riyadh will officially get the new season underway from the 4th to the 7th of February. The target for Schwartzel and Southern Guards GC, formerly known as Stingers GC, is simple: get a couple of wins under the belt, especially on home soil in mid-March.
Every year you start off, it's, goals are to win. It's really what we practice for. It is hard to win in I feel in the modern day. There's so many good players. But again, there's somebody who wins every week, and that'll be my main goal, is to see if I can have 1 or 2 wins. And then from the team side, I feel very excited about the team. I feel like at this stage, there's 4 guys playing good golf. For like 2 years, it's always somebody. It was me, and then I had some issues, and then I don't swing well, I don't play well. Brandon struggling, and then sometimes our best player, Louis or Dean, me and Brandon would play well, we've been playing bad, and then they play bad. We just had this sort of never really getting it all together. But the last couple tournaments, there was definitely something that sparked, and the guys are starting to play well. And we've been talking during the off season, and everybody feels in good shape. So I'm excited about our team for this year.
The Live Tour will hit South African shores from the 19th to the 22nd of March at the Club Stain City, and the 41-year-old 9-time winner on the Sunshine Tour is confident the spectacle will live up to the expectations, with over 75 tickets sold out for the 4-day event.
The South African hype is, it's getting closer now. We're only 2 months away from the tournament, and and I can sense with everywhere I go, not just at golf courses. Normally people talk to you about golf at a golf course, but I could be walking in Sandton City and somebody would stop you and say, "Hey, we're coming to the tournament." Excited. So it's a lot bigger audience than I've experienced in golf. So I just hope that it lives up to expectation.
A couple of changes were announced by Live Golf this year, with the most notable being a shift from 54 holes to 72 holes at each event, while another shake-up is in the awarding of points to teams and individuals, something Schwartzel welcomes.
I think the point change helps as an individual. The point system didn't make any sense. It was too harsh. Didn't show consistent golf. At least this way, consistency will show up. 72 holes, to me, it makes no difference. In fact, I think it's harder to win a 54-hole event than a 72. 54, there's no slip up. You have a couple bad holes or one bad round, you're out of it. 72 holes is more of a marathon. You've got time. So I do think maybe in 72 holes you'll see the better players prevail more often.
Having closed off the 2025 season on the 26th of August last year, the 5 months of rest and recuperation is something the 2011 Masters champion savoured.
Yeah, look, if off-season was good. It's the longest off-season I've ever had. I've never experienced something like it, so preparation took a bit longer to get back into tournament shape. Just had to start earlier with preparation, but very happy with how things have gone so far. A game feels in good shape. We'll obviously, you normally realize where you are when you start playing competitively, but as of now it feels like everything's good, and I'm excited to get going in Riyadh.
On to football news. Terem Murphy, a 26-year-old Nigerian striker, was officially announced as a new signing for FC Porto. He arrives on loan from Nice for the rest of the season with a non-mandatory purchase option. Terem Murphy arrived in Porto on Thursday afternoon and was at Estadio do Dragão to watch FC Porto's match against Rangers, which the Dragons won 3-1. The Nigerian forward joins on loan until the end of the season with a non-mandatory purchase option set at €8 million, plus an additional €250,000 in performance-related bonuses. Nice will retain 10% of any future profit from the sale. Terem Murphy will wear the number 29 shirt for Porto, returning to a stadium he already knows, having started for Nice in their 3-0 defeat to the Dragons last November. The Nigerian international striker previously played alongside Pablo Rosario and was coached by Francesco Farioli at Nice. Terem Murphy, born in Calabar, less than 40 kilometers from the Cameroonian border, is the third of 4 children of Leo Murphy, a former goalkeeper who once played for Vasco da Gama in Brazil. He left Nigeria just at 17 to join Buxwood Football Academy in England. After his experience in British football, he made his professional debut in Lithuania, first in Žalgiris Kaunas and then FC Real. After scoring 20 goals in 21 matches in the Lithuanian League, the left footer caught the attention of Kortrijk and moved to Belgium. His time in Belgium was shorter than productive. In 11 games played in January, February and August 2020, the 1.88-meter striker scored 6 times and then transferred to French side Lorient, where he made an immediate impact. Still in football news, Mamelodi Sundowns coach Miguel Cardoso has suggested fatigue played a significant role in their 2-1 CAF Champions League group stage defeat away to Al Hilal in Kigali on Friday. A week after being held to a 2-2 draw by the same opponents at Loftus Versfeld, Cardoso felt the hosts were noticeably sharper, capitalizing on what he described as a congested and demanding schedule for Sundowns. Despite the setback, the Portuguese mentor remains confident that the Brazilians can still secure a place in the quarterfinals with 2 group matches still to play.
I remember last year we were unfortunately in a similar situation after the 4th match. We lost that match in Raja, the 4th match of the feature, and then we had a difficult match away that we played in Maniema in Congo. This time it's also a tough match to play in Congo against Lupopo, and that's what the team big teams have to look ahead. But before that match, we still have a cup match on Tuesday. Unfortunately, we played on 3 days ago. Was also clear in a certain moment in the match that the team was much more tired than Al Hilal that just played against us. Despite we changed a few players in the team compared to the previous match, it was clear that we were tired. It's not, despite it looks quite close, we had to make a trip where we had a stop. It was almost one day traveling, and it was clear in a certain moment that the team was a little bit tired, and you feel that by the number of mistakes that you do. But now is really time to go back home, see who can play the next match on Wednesday, not Tuesday, on Wednesday in the best conditions possible. It's a cup match that for us is obviously very important, and then after that we start thinking about Lupopo's match, of course.
Another stumbling block, Cardoso added, was their failure to capitalize on opportunities created in the final third.
We lost because we didn't convert our chances, it's clear. I think we had more than enough. If we exclude the last 15 minutes of the match where Al Hilal had several counterattacks because we had to risk, we had to expose ourselves, I think the game is the story of the game is obviously the opportunities that we didn't score. Al Hilal knows very well how to expose ourselves. They knew very well after taking the lead that dropping numbers and defending and then using their quick players that they have both left and right and in the front that they could arrive in our box. But basically, yeah, the chances that we had that were so many. I remember 3 in the first half and 3-4 in the second half, and you have to convert so that you can at least make a draw and then make the game tactical and more balanced. And basically that's it.
Sundowns still have to face St. Eloy Lupopo away and then host MC Alger. 2 tough fixtures. Cardoso insisted have to produce positive outcomes.
We need to go to Congo where we're going to play, and obviously play to win. It's an important match. We need to collect points. We cannot obviously risk nothing more than having the proper attitude in order to face that fixture. Then in Congo, it will be a tough match, but tough moments for tough people, and we need to raise that attitude, get the proper energy, stay together, and look forward. I think the lesson from these last 2 games is unfortunately the number of goals that we could not score and the easy goals that we suffered. And when we suffer such easy goals, you cannot suffer in 2 matches 4 goals. It's not normal. So that's also an analysis that we need to do, of course, in how to avoid this kind of exposure. Because when you suffer 2 goals in a Champions League match, very difficult. You're gonna win the match. Maximum you can draw, and even to draw is sometimes very difficult.
Asked whether he missed the injured goalkeeper Ronwen Williams, the coach argued he did not review matches by lamenting those who were unavailable.
Well, that is a good question for our medical department. In the moment, I cannot tell you when he will be available. It's not a long-term injury, but I think it's me, myself, in my mindset, I just worry about the ones that are present. I don't regret the ones that are not. I cannot think the game like that. In the previous match we played for our championship, Dennis had a fantastic save that gave us the opportunity to fight until the end and to win that match. I don't usually analyze the games in that way, because before the ball enters in the goal and any action from the goalkeeper, there are several actions from other players that lead to that moment that is a decisive moment. It's like when a team loses, there's no individual responsibility, and it's not always also only the coach that is responsible. That's a multiple responsibility that myself, as the leader of the group, I have to take it, of course. I'm the leader, but it's an analysis that we need to take deep, so that we see what we did as mistakes and how we could have, obviously, most of all, be able to avoid the situations that we had, but mostly to convert our goals, because I repeat, the story of these two matches is the goals that we didn't score in the proper moment. And I remember the ball on the post from Tashrik in the first half. There's one from Brian in the beginning of second ball. There's a cross and a head in that takes the shoulder. He's not able to touch on inside the goal.
Bafana and Orlando Pirates attacker Tshepang Moremi has shared his lessons from the recent 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON tournament, saying physical strength was a major difference. Moremi, who was one of the 16 AFCON debutants in Hugo Bross's team at the AFCON, was arguably one of the standout new players for Bafana in the tournament, together with Mbegezeli Mbogazi. He played in all 3 matches, contributing an assist in his first game against Angola for Lyle Foster's opening goal. Moremi openly admits that AFCON is on a different level.
The level at it one, like national team and the football club, but national team, like, it's not easy. Like, it's hard because sometimes like the opponent like the whole like dikgolo like abo bodu abo bontho tse jwalo, so like and mo PSL like di body dinyane, so ka like otata, it's not easy, but then if you prove yourself and show them who you are, then everything to tsamaya. But then otata easy, so what depend on when I like we engage on to yeah, enough but it was hard, but as time goes where I can utilize the space, the weaknesses of the opponent. Yeah, but for now it's not the same.
Moremi is a player who seems to thrive under pressure and has always shown patience in building his career. From his time at the Remember Elite Sports Academy, Bizano Pondos Chiefs, Amazulu and JDR Stars, Moremi never lost sight of the bigger picture. He continues to operate like that at Pirates.
I think for now, like, I feel more like pressure thing, like, honestly easy, but then like I always perform like the game, so I always give my all. Yeah, that's why like I perform almost every game. So I get more like it wasn't easy because the pressure did one again. But then as time goes, okay, this is what I must do, and I must work on my final decision or so go on to interesting.
As Bucks look ahead to their 14th game of the season in the Betway Premiership and closing the gap with log leaders Mamelodi Sundowns, tomorrow's game against Makezi FC presents them with an opportunity to pile on the pressure. Moremi is confident that they've got the squad to win the league.
I think for me, like, the game test is like the important. So I think like for me, like the game test is the important role for us because like Parete get the win league, so winning league this season it's like a history, and the game test is the important role, and but don't like build that step by step. It doesn't mean like you're gonna win all games, so some will lose, some will draw, some will win. But I strongly believe the squad we have, we're going to win a league, and we're gonna fight for it, even though it's not gonna be easy. But but it won't be easy.
At the beginning of the season, Moremi didn't just fire and he had to adapt at some stage. The Ghost appeared to have some doubts about him. He admits that the pressure at Pirates was not the same as expected.
I think from my own perspective, like, last season, like, I used to play when I was at Amazon. So Pirates is the team like you know, too much pressure, so pressure you know, like, and the pressure you like now, like never used to it, but then I will more Pirates, but pressure give me long demo. I got the last sharp, yes, do matter, but I'm not going to say I redeem myself, everything to sharp. Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspur boss Thomas Franke insists that club's owners are super committed despite criticism over their lack of signings in the January transfer window. Spurs missed out on Ghana forward Antoine Semenyo, who joined Manchester City, and have only added England midfielder Conor Gallagher from Atletico Madrid. Last season's top scorer Brennan Johnson has been sold to Crystal Palace, while injuries to James Maddison, Mohamed Kudus, Richarlison and others have left the squad stretched. Frank rejected claims that majority owners, ENIC, are not investing enough, stressing the Lewis family did everything to try and land Semenyo as proof of their commitment. And finally, in cricket news, Kurajat Giants secured their first ever Women's Premier League victory over defending champions Mumbai Indians, winning by 11 runs in Vadodara to book a place in Tuesday's eliminator. Batting first, the Giants posted 167 for 4, with captain Ash Gardner scoring 46, Georgia Warrenham 44, Arushna Sharma 33 and Sophie Devine 25. Mumbai's chase was led by skipper Neto Chemane, who smashed a heroic 82 of 48 balls but lacked support as only 3 of other batters reached double figures. Divine and Waraham stayed with the ball, taking 2 wickets apiece to seal the victory. The result ended in Garuat's run of 8 straight defeats to Mumbai and opened the door for Delhi Capitals to leapfrog the champions into 3rd place with a win on Sunday. 15:20 Central African Time. Thank you for choosing Africa's number 1, Africa at Play. It's time for a short break.
Es-tu préoccupé par quelque chose? Es-tu passionné par les questions qui comptent? As-tu une voix qui mérite d'être entendue? Eh bien, nous avons la plateforme parfaite pour toi. Téléphone-nous ou fais-nous un WhatsApp au +27 66 408 87 42 et nous te rappellerons. Sois dans la conversation.
Salut Channel Africa, ici Beno le diamant rouge et Binal Sport depuis le Cameroun, le pays des lions. Voilà.
Sois dans la conversation. Il ne s'agit pas seulement de parler, mais c'est ta chance d'exprimer ton point de vue, de partager tes opinions et de t'engager avec une communauté qui valorise ton avis. Suivez-nous sur les réseaux sociaux, visitez notre site www.channelafrica.co.za et préparez-vous à partager vos points de vue sur Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
From football fields to finish lines,
Elliot Kipchoge storms into the history books.
Neto Chemane brings you sports on Africa at Play.
15:21 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. It is now time to have a conversation with our teenager in sport, Ridam House Umhlanga Archer, Danya Thompson, a 17-year-old grade 12 student who was crowned the 2025 World Champion at the IFAA World Indoor Archery Championships, WIAC, in Santa Clara del Mar in Argentina, South America. Competing in the young adult female freestyle unlimited category, Danya topped the podium after 3 intense rounds of competition. The championships that was held from the 3rd to the 8th of November brought together 267 archers from 14 countries, ranging in the age from around 10 to 70 in what International Field Archery Association describes as its family of archers. Danya was part of a 12-strong South African team that enjoyed an exceptional tournament, returning home with 6 gold medals and 5 silver medallions. As we now welcome Danya to this conversation. Danya, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Hello, Danya.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Danya. How are you doing today?
Great, thanks, and you?
Good, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play. All the best in 2026. Let's reflect back to the awesome work that you've done as an archer. But before we even get there, let's talk about archery. How do you explain archery to an African potential athlete who's listening to this conversation who could perhaps consider archery as their sport of choice?
I think I would explain it as it's a very, I'd say a lone sport, but you have team events and everything, and obviously you shoot a bow and arrows. I don't quite know how to explain it else like that, but it's a very together sport, and like we've said before, it's a very family of archers, and everyone is very supporting of each other, and I think it's a very great environment to do that, and we do beginner courses and stuff to so you get people into the sport.
What drew your attention to the sport of archery, and when did you join the sport?
I must say my parents started archery when I was 5 years old, and then they became coaches, and then I was sitting around the course and I was like, oh, I really want to shoot a bow. I was just sitting there bored, and then my parents got me my first bow when I was 6, so then I just started it from there and absolutely loved it so much.
It is heartwarming and intriguing to realize that out of 267 archers from 14 countries, you finished on top of the proceedings, a podium finish, but not an ordinary one, but being crowned the IAAA World Indoor Archery Champion. it speaks a volume indeed. Talk to us about what you've achieved in 2025. How do you feel about this great achievement?
I think it's a speechless way to feel. It's an absolute, the best feeling. You can't even describe the feeling. It's just so, like, you can barely fathom words half the time to describe the feeling. And just the accomplishment is such a big accomplishment, and it means so much to me that I've had so much support for it, and from my friends, family, school, and everything.
And Tanya, if you are not involved in archery as a sport, what else do you get involved in knowing that there's a number of variety when it comes to sporting codes?
Well, I do water polo. I love my water polo. I do art. I just finished playing hockey for the school. So I also do hockey. I do swimming. I do golf. Anything to keep busy half the time.
If you have just joined us, we are talking to our teenager in sport who is an archer. I'm talking about Tanya Thompson, a 17-year-old grade 12 learner. Not only is she an archer, but she's also a swimmer. She participates in water polo. She also loves hockey. And it's just heartwarming to realize that she can be able to balance out things and be active in a number of sporting codes like that. Tanya, talking about balancing it out, how do you get it right? Knowing that you've got to worry about water polo and sometimes playing hockey, but there's also archery on the cards.
It's a lot of planning it out, and sometimes it does overlap, and I've got to make those tough decisions on which ones to do. But we've been lucky enough to be able to, with all the support and everything from the school, from my friends, family, it's been very easy to fit in through the little gaps that I have to do all the different sports.
Any dream of participating at the upcoming Olympics in Los Angeles 2028?
Yes, very big dreams. I'm definitely going to try and go for them, and if I don't make it into qualify for that, I will definitely be trying for the 32 Olympics, because I'd rather go for it than not go for it at all. Yeah, you got to give it your all.
What did you like to say to young athletes out there who are listening to this conversation that are just intrigued by what you are able to do as an athlete, being involved as an archer, as a water polo player, but also playing hockey in between and making certain that you remain active? I'm certain it is an inspirational story that can change a whole lot of young Africans' lives out there, especially those that are wondering which sporting codes can they choose.
I think I say a very common one. I think is very much work as hard as you can. Make sure at the end of the day you know that you've put your 100% in. And I definitely think all those blood, sweat, and tears, when you've hit rock bottom, there's always a way up. You've just got to keep fighting. You've got to keep pushing. And I definitely think that's one of the main things, is to realize you've got support. Everyone's there to help you. They're not there to bring you down, and you've just got to keep pushing.
As an archer, what do you need precisely in terms of the tools for you to be able to participate effectively in archery?
I'd definitely say you need be able to focus and definitely lock in and a little bit of strength into it, but not as much. But I'd mainly say focus is a lot of it.
Is archery an expensive sport?
Yeah, I'd love to say it's not, but it is fairly expensive.
And the kind of support, where are you getting your support from?
Well, I think I'm very lucky. I've definitely got parents that are 100% supportive of me. Family, friends are definitely, and my school, I have to put a lot of thanks to them for the support that they've helped me, extra help to just get me to be able to handle and cope with everything that's going on.
That's the voice of Danya Thompson, a 17-year-old grade 12 student who was crowned the 2025 world champion at the IFAA World Indoor Archery Championships in Santa Clara del Mar in Argentina back in November 2025. Any plans for 2026 except for your dream of participating at the Los Angeles Olympics? What else will be happening in your calendar in 2026 and when it comes to an end? Because eventually it will get there. How do you want to look back at the year that was?
Obviously, this year is a lot of just qualifying and just putting 100% effort in, and I think definitely at the end of the day, it's still I want to be able to look back and be like, I've tried my best and not have any regrets in life, and that's definitely what I want to have.
This is your final year in secondary school. How's matric treating you?
Yeah, it's going really well right now. It's just there's a lot, but it's going really well. The school's helping, family, the whole thing, but it's going really well right now.
Incredible indeed. That is Tanya Thompson, a 17-year-old grade 12 student who is the reigning champion of the 2025 World IFA World Indoor Archery Championships. And this event took place in Argentina late last year. Tanya, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. All the best moving forward.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
That brings us to the wrap-up of our conversation with Danya Thompson, who is an archer. That is archery, a shooting sport, and she is the reigning champion of the Indoor World Championships of Archery that took place in Argentina late last year. And that brings us to the wrap-up of this conversation as we visit the dance floor.
Africa at Play, beautifully, happily marrying sports and music.
le cash, asifuna le stash. Asifuna mamita, asifuna mabita, asifuna magumba. Sonke, asifuna magumba. Eyawele. Ebati tina, asifuna le mali, asifuna le cash, asifuna le stash. Asifuna mamita, asifuna mabita, asifuna magumba. Sonke, asifuna magumba. Eyawele. Magumba, gumba, gumba, gumba. 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 Eyawele. Magumba, gumba, gumba.
You like what we do on Channel Africa? Then follow us on our socials. Channel Africa 1 on all social pages. And get the African perspective.
Amour. Oyebi ke na lela yo lokola kilao. Na kolinga oza la kaka yangai. C'est vrai. Vinanga isonja de l'instant. Na mona yo. Na como na yo partout. Je suis perdu. Pama sabatuna kankai pona yo. Nzakunini na bomba kayo. Bipai na bomba yo, darling. Motema. Biloba lobo soyaka lokolantindi namatoye. Kokate fama yo, sanga. Pama sabatuna gelubunini. Nalia pueto nalango yo boye. No, 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 no. Grite, marabute, bolingo a motima. Mawana ngai pona krakayo. La sali yo confiance, na pesi yo motima. Na kolati sa yo lopete amu. Elembo ya bolingo na biso,
Yatendai, on y va. C'est ça même. Oh, doucement, doucement. Écoute ça, papa, pa. Oh ya 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 ya.
Tangana misonanga dadu into me. Yokamote mananga when you dance between moms. Okamwate nandingeza likobeta sans l'heure. Merci na papati pasala imagina nakotosa ba condition nyoso tu bago pisanga poète ozala wangai pour la vie t'as décidé nakopala yo mon amour t'as décidé yoza wangai. All my life I've been looking for someone like you, my darling. Since I met you, I just can't get you out of my mind. I've never felt so in love before, but please
15:39 Central African Time. It is an awesome song titled Nalingiyo by Monique Tendai. And before that, we played you an exciting song by Kadia featuring PKMZ and Keita Makumba. 15:40 Central African Time. Let's take a short break.
Darubini ya Afrika na I am Henry Shakif.
Tumeona chapisho mapema hii leo ya kwamba Wizara ya Mambo ya Nje ya nchini Marekani imesema inapitia upya uhusiano wake na nchi ya Tanzania. Pengine taarifa hii imepokelewaje na wananchi wa Tanzania?
Cha kwanza tumeiona taarifa ambayo imetoka hii leo. Sisi kwetu taarifa hii haikutushangaza wala haikutushtua kwa sababu tulishaona taarifa kama hiyo imetoka kwenye ubalozi wa Marekani nchini Tanzania, ikiwa imetolewa na bwana Tom Pigott.
Umezungumza kwa kina kabisa. Haya ni malalamiko ambayo yamekuwa yakijitokeza mara kwa mara. Unadhani sasa je, wana hoja ya msingi?
Unauliza maswali mazuri sana na maswali ya tafakari. Maswali ambayo hayawezi kujibiwa kwa dakika moja au kwa siku moja. Ni maswali yanayohitaji tafiti, yanayohitaji kusoma.
Darubini ya Afrika kila Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa kuanzia saa 11 kamili hadi saa 12 kamili jioni majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
You heard something you like on Channel Africa and you would like to hear it again. Worry not, we've got your back. Just go to our website www.channelafrica.co.za and look for our podcast.
15:41 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. The Zambia national futsal team is now traveling to Ghana in West Africa for their first leg, final round of the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers against the hosts on Tuesday, the 3rd of February. Let's now hear from Andrea Cristoforetti, who is the Zambia futsal head coach, together with his captain, who will be telling us about what we can expect. And the captain is Chota Chiesi.
The truth is that the whole group, the whole staff and the whole delegation, we know the importance of these two games. You know, we are playing to qualify for Africa Cup. You know, we are playing to be in the best 8 teams of Africa. So we are fully aware of the importance of this event. So we did and we tried to do as much as we could to be as ready as possible.
Okay, some of your players were coming for the first time. How easy was it to integrate them into the team?
Yes, this was another aspect of the program that we have and the work that we've been doing throughout this couple of years, which was to blend some of the experienced players, the older players, with some of the youngsters. The truth is there are definitely talented players, but our game is a very difficult game. It's a very tactical game where there's many aspects to be considered. So we blended in a way, I think, that is working so far, meaning that the atmosphere in the camp has been great, the commitment of the player has been great. We needed to leave out some of the players that definitely were fighting to be in this group, which are all great indications for me. So I would say so far so good. At the end of the day, obviously, what it really matters is to be able to compete, and at this point there's no messing around. We need to try to play to qualify for our task.
Some people would say playing the first game away is an advantage because your last game will be at home. Do you take this as an advantage?
Well, in a way, yes. In a way, yes, because the truth is when you play your second game, the one that counts, the one that you can start understanding, goal difference, in all these little aspects, and our fans and our pitch is always, when it matters, we always fill up, so it's a great atmosphere. So it's a little advantage, I would say, because when you play and you know the conditions of the game is not easy, but at least you know what to expect. And as a matter of fact, we really not sure of what to expect in Ghana. So far, for what we are looked for the last qualifiers of 2024, the pitch seems with a a little bit smaller size, which can affect a little bit of the game. The surface is a little bit different. Is in wood. The ball slides in a different way. So the conditions can always play a role in the game. But overall, we have 2 games. We got 80 minutes of effective time of the game. So I would say at the end of the day, the best team, so to speak, will actually come out.
And of course, it must be Zambia has the best team to come out there.
Well, we hope so. We are confident in our work. You see that we've been working for a few years now. It's like 3-4 years. We went to Africa Cup. We went to Thailand. We've been playing some, with the support of the federation. We've been playing some international games, international friendlies. So we are in a path of growth. So our aim is to continue this path of growth. And hopefully we'll be through qualifying for the Africa Cup and playing for this great event, which is, by the way, the only event for African national teams available. So for us is really essential to try to qualify.
You've beaten Ghana before. Is that an advantage, or you find yourself under pressure?
In this aspect, I'm expecting not to find the same team. And hopefully we are not the same team. So we leave the past what has been the past. I'm considering this a completely different scenario. So I would not want to compare nothing that happened 2 years ago, because obviously it's like 2 years ago. So we taking this task as a completely new, different task, and putting all the efforts to try to do the best that we can.
I feel we've prepared adequately, and when you prepare for something, you know that you do the right thing even when the time comes to perform. So no, I don't think we are intimidated.
If you're not intimidated, are you able to predict some goals?
Of course not, but surely the game will be tough, and we'll push hard to do our best, and we'll score a lot of goals. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, and all the best. We hope to see you with a lot of goals when you come back.
Thank you.
All right.
15:47 Central African Time. That is a coach of the Zambian national futsal team, together with his captain, who are heading to West Africa in Ghana. They will be playing against the West Africans in the Ghana national futsal team. And this is the final round of the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON futsal tournament that is still coming up. And of course, we will introduce the dates as soon as they have been confirmed. It is now time to take a short break. When we come back, we will be heading to West Africa to land in Lagos, Nigeria, for the latest in Nigerian sport with our correspondent Tony Tonero Ubani. The Bedway Premiership action is ongoing between Chippa United, the Chile Boys, who are up against Durban City, the Citizens. And after 8 minutes of football has been played, still no goals have been scored. We will update you on this match and other matches that are currently underway. For now, let's take a short break.
Conversations are happening, and Channel Africa is at the heart of them. We tell the African story with clarity, pride, and purpose, reaching audiences that matter to your brand. Partner with us and connect your business with listeners across borders in multiple languages and markets. For partnership opportunities, sponsorship, or sales, email us at partnership@channelafrica.co.za. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Channel Africa 1060. 6 decades of stories, voices, and vision.
Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen has revealed that Nigerian Alken at the recently concluded AFCON was driven by a strong desire to reconnect with fans after the disappointment of failing to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. The team admitted that the players were fully aware of the frustration among supporters and viewed the tournament as a chance to restore belief in the national team. He expressed satisfaction with a positive reaction and praised the Super Eagles following their increasing performance in Morocco. This AFCON was an opportunity for us to win so many of our fans back. We wanted to show them that their support hasn't gone unnoticed. They are the reason why we fight on the pitch and give everything to bring glory to Nigeria. Osimhen said. The Galatasaray forward added that the unity within the squad and the ideas of the coaching crew played a major role in turning things around. I am proud of the team and the performance we put in during this tournament to win our hands back and see amazing comments from people who truly understand football is something we could be proud of. A lot of fans are giving up on this thing. So to bring my advance to their faces means a lot to us. So Time said, Time played a key role in Nigeria's top place finish in the tournament. He scored 4 goals and provided 2 assists in 6 appearances, while also making a strong all-round contribution to the team's play. Beyond his goals, the 27-year-old completed 51 passes, created 8 chances, and recorded 14 successful dribbles, combining physical presence, intelligent movement, and creativity to lead the Super Eagles attack. Victor Ochune.
Yeah, some amazing talent and the people that watch football and the more about football. I could or it could also the Euro pilot because we let it all have that really good on the more after that. But the UFC, I like the Adrocker, I like also the never choose me. Big man, the 30 man, and do have to about this kind of course or the trend will be magical.
The chairman of the National Sports Commission, Madam Teodigo, had confirmed that reward for Nigeria Super Eagles, Super Falcons, and the Tigers have been fully approved and processed. The Super Falcons and the Tigers are to be rewarded following their triumph in their respective African competitions, while the Super Eagles will be honored for finishing runners-up at the 2023 African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. Biko made the confirmation yesterday, providing details on the reward, which include houses, land, national honors, and monetary incentives. I can tell you, Mr. President has already approved the houses and the land for the Super Eagles and the national award and the monies for the Super Falcons. All that has been processed, Biko said. As I speak to you, I have in my possession all the certificates of occupancy for the houses of the players in Lagos and in Abuja for both the Super Eagles, Super Falcons, and the Tigers. The National Sports Commission chairman stated that national honors have been finalized, while payment of financial reward is at an advanced stage paying. I have all the certificates for the national awards. The money has been processed and is currently at the payment point at the office of the Accountant General of the Federation. The confirmation is extended to each concern among stakeholders and athletes who have been awaiting fulfillment of the promised reward following their historic performance. Yangu dijo sí.
Sí, no, no, never let us know. No, no, get our back to Nigeria. Porque parece we have to do what we have to do. Because they're already there, out there. They are actually honor to everything. You told you, and they don't how they play. Later, I know what them are telling them before they let our call when they result up. And then, later that we was very happy with the loud and everybody. Something like for people will be available to put it up.
Nigeria football is good morning once more following news of the death of Mrs. Sarah Chukwueze, the mother of Super Eagles head forward Samuel Chukwueze, in the early hours of yesterday. The announcement of Mrs. Sarah Chukwueze passing was made by Samuel's sister, Princess Chukwueze, and his brother David on their respective social media platform, stating that the matriarch of the family had died after a brief illness. The current General Secretary of the Nigeria Football Federation, Dr. Mohamed Farouzi, said, "We are aware that Mrs. Sarah Chukwueze was a vital and supportive presence in the life of her children, including our international player, Samuel Chukwueze. Samuel has always, at every opportunity, acknowledged his mother's influence on his professional development. We are sad at her departure, coming only a few days after we had to mourn the sudden passing of the father of Super Eagles captain, Wilfred Ndidi. We pray that God will grant her eternal rest and also grant those she has left behind, including Samuel and his siblings, the fortitude to bear the big loss." Not only the Nigeria Football Federation this morning, President Bola Tinubu has equally expressed his deepest sympathy to Super Eagles forward Samuel Chukwueze following the passing of his mother, Mrs. Sarah Chukwueze. In a statement released by the special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Hanoga, the President extended his heartfelt condolences to the family of claims of the disease who passed away. The President described the loss as a significant blow, especially coming at a time when the Nigerian football community is already really from a similar tragedy involving another national star. The passing of Mrs. Weze, the mother of one of our bright football stars, just a few days after the passing of Super Eagles Captain Wilfred Ndidi father, is deeply saddening, the president said. The president of the Nigeria Olympic Committee, Abu Ahmed Gumel, has congratulated Olumide Oyedeji on his election as Secretary General of the World Olympians Association, WOA, which gives Nigeria another global crown. Oyedeji also serves as Vice Vice President of the Nigeria Olympic Committee and President of the Nigeria Olympians Association, NOA. He emerged winner in a landslide vote at the Zeta WOA General Assembly. He secured victory on the first ballot with 55 votes, defeating Salvador Caguero of El Salvador, who polled 32 votes, and Lincoln Booker of Puerto Rico, who got 19 votes. The election involved over 107 delegates from National Olympian Associations across the globe. And then later Oyedeji said that he was going to use his position to the benefits of humanity and to Nigeria. Olumide Oyedeji speak.
You're right, so really, so I'm not the only one. I have to make sure that I've done my own part. I do what I'm supposed to do, and what a lot to do in the bad ministry is to make an impact, to make an impact, and I have a good team. It doesn't just be about me or about myself. So, it will be a long journey for sure. But I have the knowledge, the experience. I mean, when you do a good there with a lot of great people, they could support you. You're gonna make the journey more than easy. It's not a big one for me. I have to tell a step of that. I'm up to the way I've kind of been busy the whole of my life. So marking it together with the world within the journey also give me and myself in Nigeria an opportunity, and also give another opportunity for somebody else in Nigeria to step out and so rare and kind of go deep. So always ready.
And before we go Nigeria Super Falcons, we intensify the preparation for the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations by competing in a 4-nation West African tournament scheduled to hold in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. The Nigeria Football Federation has confirmed the participation of the reigning African champions in the invitational competition, which is organized by the West African Union, WAFUB. The tournament will run from 27 February to 7 March 2026 and will seek up 4 teams that have secured qualification for WAFCON 2023. Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Ghana, and Senegal, with the AFCON final set to kick off in Morocco just 10 days after the tournament. The Abidjan Championship is viewed as a critical day rehearsal for Africa's trainer women's football event. Morocco will host the 15th edition of WAFCON from 17 March to 3rd April 2023. Nigeria Football Federation Secretary General, take.
A coalition tournament involving Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, and Cote d'Ivoire, the fourth country. And it is, of course, to have a camping ground. These kids are very good at part of the women's football because immediately they will need to American to acclimatize to the environment.
And with that, we come to the end of Sports Roundup in Nigeria. For Canada Africa called Tony Obane reporting from Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank you to Tony Obane, our correspondent based in the beautiful city of Lagos in Nigeria, West Africa. Let's update you about matches that are currently underway in the CAF Champions League, a match that is currently on halftime. Young Africans of Tanzania leading Egyptian giants Al Ahly by 1-0. There's also a match in the Betway Premiership in South Africa where 24 minutes of football has been played in a match between Chippa United and Durban City. Still 0-0. Another match, same duration. Maruma Gallants, Bahlabane Bantwa are up against Amazulu Usutu, and that match is also on a 0-all draw as it stands. In the Spanish La Liga, a match on halftime between Oviedo and Girona, still 0-0. Then there is a match in Albania. 67 minutes of football has been played between Vora and Flamutari, and it's still 0-0. Then in Albania category A Paris, it is 66 minutes of football between Ilira Fushe and and they're playing against Apollonia Fier, and Elena Fushe leading that match by a goal to nil. Kukesi up against Besakave, Kukesi leading by a goal to nil. Another team leading by a goal to nil is Lassi up against AF Luftetari, and Prograded up against Korabi Peshkopi, and Prograded were leading that match by a goal to nil. Let's also check in Azerbaijan in the Premier League, where it is halftime between Zira and Sababaku are leading by 3 goals to nil. Then in Belgium in the Super Women's League, 62 minutes of football has been played between Genk and St. Liège, and Genk leading by 2 goals to nil. 15:59 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up the second hour of Africa at Play, where we got to speak to Danya Thompson, who is a 17-year-old archer who won the Indoor World Archery Championships in South America, rather, in Argentina late last year, and finished first, who is our teenager in sport, currently in matric, and looking forward to participating at the upcoming Los Angeles 2028 Olympics, although she still has to go through the qualification standards before she can be able to achieve that dream.
Welcome to the post.
Catch your latest scores and sports highlights. Stay tuned to Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
16:01 Central African Time. A very warm welcome to Africa at Play. If you have just joined us, we are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are based in South Africa. Alternatively, you can reach us from any corner of the world online on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC Plus. If you haven't downloaded the new Channel Africa app, this is the perfect moment to do so on your Android and iOS to have a fabulous Channel Africa experience from the African perspective. We now welcome to Africa at Play our correspondent from Kampala in East Africa, Mr. Sam Mpoza. Sam Mpoza, very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon to you too, Sir NETO Neto Chemane. Thank you so much for having me on the show. On this somehow cold afternoon in Kampala, it is threatening to rain. We have been having a very big wind here, and people were like, maybe the tornado has come to Kampala, to Uganda. But yeah, it's good. The environment is okay and very fine for sports.
Let's hope that the tornado doesn't come to the field of play, because we are looking forward to exciting fixtures in the Ugandan Premier League. Yesterday, Vipers triumphed in a one-way traffic encounter, beating Buhimba United Saints by 4 goals to nil, while UPDF suffered a narrow 1-0 defeat to Bull, while KCCAFC went down against Gaddafi by 1 goal to nil. Today, expecting action between Calvary and Kitara, as well as Maroons up against Mbarara City, and EC taking on Express, while URA is up against Police FC, with Villa taking on Lugasi at 1900 Central African Time. What's the latest in the Ugandan Premier League, Samboza?
For now, all the games are still ongoing. No game has been concluded so far. We are waiting to see what will come out from there. You remember, the biggest part of the Uganda Premier League is not on TV. They always show one game, and it is on a certain channel that is not very popular. So that is the situation. But of course, as journalists, we get the results through our forums, and we are waiting to get to know who is going to win the games today. All the games are ongoing, and we are waiting to see who wins today. And of course, like you said, Vipers are really enjoying the league so far with 4 goals. This Buhimba team, like I told you last weekend, they come from Western Uganda, somewhere in western Uganda near the border, not too close to the border, but at that side of Congo, where Uganda has the border with Congo. And when you look at this team, the way they started the league, they played very well because they won 3 consecutive games when the league was starting. And this is their first season in the league. And everybody was thinking, yes, now we have gotten a new challenger for the league title. And remember that time, there was a problem between some few clubs that were refusing to play the new format, the new league format, and Buhimba were some of the teams that had accepted to play the new league format. Because, of course, for them, they were just coming into the league. This was their first season, so I think they didn't have ground to refuse or to argue with FOFA. So when the whole thing was turned around and the new league format was dropped, and then we went back to the old format, that was the end of Buhimba. They started losing games. They started losing all the games, and they have not won a game since they actually got those 9 points consecutively when they got 3-3-3, and then they were accumulated 9 points. So Vipers, as defending champions, as a team that refused to play the the new format, and insisted, and then they won the war against FOFA. They are enjoying the old format, and they are looking forward to winning the league, because the closest competitors would be KCCA, Kampala Capital City Authority FC, who lost to Gaddafi. This team, Gaddafi, actually has been locally here we know it as UPPC. They sold their rights. They sold the team. The owners of the team, the Gaddafi sold off to a new entity which is called UPPC. So we are looking at them as a new team in Uganda, but of course I think KCC went to play this team with this approach, thinking that probably they're underdogs, and now they lost the game, and that gives Vipers an upper hand to stay up there. Of course, this Gaddafi team is now next to Vipers, challenging for the title, and that is now KCC Vipe and the Sports Club Villa are all there. But of course, if things go by the way they are moving, Vipers are likely to have it without any big challenge this season. Of course, that is the league, and anyone who watches and probably follows the league, they will tell you that this is just about results, team beating the other. But what do we get from the league at the end of the day? Does it give us the best players probably to make a good national team that can compete and win international titles? We just recently saw the Uganda Cranes struggling in the Africa Cup of Nations finals in Morocco. Part of the few players who were playing in the league, but many of them were coming from other leagues in Europe and Africa. But teams that are consistently winning, most times you see they have a good starting point with players from home, like teams like Egypt. You will see that most of the players in the Egyptian team are home-based. Tunisia, most of them are home-based. So, and even Morocco, you will see that although many of them come from outside, but when they put in a local-based player, a player playing in the Moroccan league, you see that they are still very competitive. So this is now the question. Is it just about Team A beating Team B 4 goals, 2 goals, 1, and then what happens after? Where does this league take us? When we go to the Africa Club Championship, when we go to the CAF Confederations Cup, how do we perform? Now, that is the big question that everybody is asking here. And that is where we need to go. And that is why the FOFA president was always saying that the new format was coming to answer that question. The new format was coming to answer that question because the new format was going to be more competitive and force clubs to really put in a match to ensure that the players the league is very competitive, and then the players play very good football, and probably help the national team get the best and good players who can really compete on the African continent and the other international tournaments. So far, that is what is happening. But now in Uganda, of course, this year Uganda didn't qualify for the World Cup. So the biggest event coming up is the Commonwealth Games that will take place in Glasgow, Scotland. That is where now most teams, most games are looking. Games like athletics, netball, boxing, badminton, table tennis. These are the games that go for such competitions. I've never seen a Ugandan team. Actually, the Commonwealth Games don't have football. So, but swimming will be there. So all these, everyone now, all the heads of these federations, Uganda Swimming Federation and Uganda Netball, Uganda Athletics, they are all looking at preparing teams going for the Commonwealth Games due in July and August in Scotland. That is the big thing. And the other thing probably coming up is the big calendar for the school sports. School sports is starting in on February 24th. That's when we shall have the elite games in Uganda. That is now the first competition in the year, and of course this culminates into international games outside the country. So far, that is what is happening in Uganda.
There you have it from Sam Mpoza, our correspondent based in Kampala, Uganda. Mr. Mpoza, please just stay on the line. We take a short break. We will continue our conversation shortly.
Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter? Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard? Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126, and we will call you back so you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am,
It's not just talk. It's your chance to air your views. Share your opinion. Engage with the community that values your perspective. Follow us on our social media. Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za and get ready to share your views on Channel Africa, the African perspective. Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa. We are broadcasting to the world about Africa.
16:12 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play, live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time. We're still getting the latest update from East Africa with our East African correspondent based in Kampala, Uganda, Mr. Sam Mpoza. Mpoza, thank you so much for staying on the line. You've touched on a number of interesting points, such as the North African teams players who most of them play in North Africa, but whenever they get on to the battlefield, you see competitiveness. And we also witness it in Southern Africa with the South African Betway Premiership, where most players ply their trade on home soil and not opting to go look for better opportunities abroad because of how competitive the league is when it comes to its financial muscle, which is a rare thing to find on the African continent. And this links up with our topic of the day, where we're talking about a lot of African players that are going abroad for playing opportunities, looking for better deals, considering that football is a short career. But the question we are asking is, will we ever get to a situation in our lifetime where players from South America, from Europe, and different parts of the world can choose the African continent as their destination of choice to come and ply their trade in Africa and not different parts of the world? Your thoughts? Mr. Mpoza?
Well, thank you, sir, Neto. It's a very good question, very good topic, but very challenging, because I remember one time in Uganda, Vipers Sports Club had a Brazilian player. There's also one time KCCFC had a Portuguese player. And one time KCCFC had had KCCFC. No, they had an Italian player. There's a time Sports Club Villa had a Serbian player. But all these players, of course, had come with coaches who come from the same nations. Because the time Vipers had a Brazilian player, I think the coach was Brazilian. When KCCFC had a Portuguese player, the coach was Portuguese, I think, I remember. And then Villa, the time they had a Serbian player, the coach was from Serbia. Now, it is not, it is not hard for players to come from Europe and South America to come and play in Africa. I remember there was a time I think there were South American players in the South African League, if I've not forgotten. So, but the difference is economy. It's not about standards of football, but can the African economy be able to support, to pay these Europeans, South Americans, good money that they need for them to come to play in these leagues. When you look at the various leagues, of course, the coaches come when you look at all the national teams, most of the national teams in Africa, they use European coaches and other coaches from other continents. But sometimes you find that even federations that are also supported by the government, sometimes they fail to pay. They fail to pay the coaches, and of course matters end up in courts, FIFA courts, and something like that. So the standard of football being low, of course, again it has an attachment with the economies. The economies of most countries in Africa, like 90-95%, are below par. So they cannot, when you look at Europe, most of the players, most of African players go to Europe because the economies in Europe are very good and they can support sports. Therefore, there is a lot of money in sports. Because compare the crowds that come to watch games in Africa to those in Europe. Even the last village game, village team playing in Europe will have a full stadium capacity. Fans will come in full and fill up the stadium to watch their village team in the lowest league of the country. Here, top teams in the top tier of the country, the best probably today, Gaddafi and Vipers are up there on top of the league. If these two teams are playing today, you will find that not more than probably 4,000 people come to watch this game. If there are many, there will be 5,000 people. Why? The reason is simple. People don't have money to look after themselves, look after their families, solve their family problems, and also spare some money to go and enjoy the luxury of sports. Because sports in Africa is still looked at as a luxury. It's only for those people who can manage, who have excess money to go and pay. The people in Africa love sports, and they will always come to watch. If you put free sports, they will come to watch in big numbers. But if you start charging, the number will cut by 4/3. So that is where the problem is. So it is very hard for these European players, South American players, to come to Africa for now, until our economies grow, if that God helps us one day, and match the standard of Europe and the entire Western world. That is my opinion about this. It's about money, not about the standards. Of course, will grow with the money. If there's money in sports and good money, the standards will automatically shoot up. Without money, the standards will stay down. Because now sports and football in particular is an industry. It's something where people make money. It's an industry that generates money for different stakeholders. Very different, not only players, but different stakeholders, suppliers of equipment, coaches, players, managers, doctors, medical workers who work with the teams, security, people who give security, engineers who construct stadiums, drivers who drive the fans, who drive the teams, who drive the officials, everyone. There are different groups of people who benefit from sport. But in Africa, though we know this, but we have not invested much. But of course, you'll forgive the government because the governments themselves are also struggling. I don't want to talk about the widespread, corruption in African governments, which also is a problem because if there wasn't probably much corruption, sports would benefit. But maybe part of what is supposed to come to sports goes into corruption, and people benefit themselves other than helping, the industry. And what's still, the people who are in the industry manage the leaders. When they get $1 billion shillings, that is for the case of Uganda, just an example. I'm not saying this happens, but okay, let me say they get $1 million. Someone leading, or the leaders will make sure that at least out of the $1 million, something like 60% goes to their own pockets, and they do accountability. They have to take accountability, and 40% will go to the actual, targeted, where the money is supposed to be put. So also that is another big problem. But entirely, the biggest picture is that we need to have better economies which can support sports. Then we can be able to pay these players from other parts of the world. That is the basic idea.
Semboza is our correspondent based in Kampala in Uganda. Semboza, thank you so much for your contribution to Africa at Play. Have a good weekend further.
Thank you so much too.
16:22 Central African Time. It's time for a short break, and of course we're also going to visit the dance floor with Diamond Platinums in a Kamasava remix featuring Jason Derulo as well as Khalil Harrison and Chile. This is Africa at Play. Astelil Siashai.
Channel Africa is evolving, and so are you. Stay connected wherever you are with our brand new website and mobile app. Stream your favorite shows, catch up on African news, culture, and conversations, all at your fingertips.
Africa is just a tap away.
Your world, your stories, now on the go.
Stay connected wherever you are.
Visit channelafrica.co.za or download the Channel Africa app today. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective.
It's the kids, baby.
Jason Derulo.
Masikhohlwe ngenkinga sekukubalisela masikhuphula imizwa sukumisa umzimba masikhohlwe ngenkinga sekukubalisela masikhuphula imizwa Ngishubumisa umzimba. Koma sava, koma savana na. Aye sava, aye savana na.
Koma sava, koma sava, koma sava, koma sava. Aye sava, aye sava, aye sava, aye sava, aye sava, koma sava. So easy, it just be body.
Como salva? What's the price to love you? Would you still leave here with me if I didn't have $1? You fucked up my Prada, put lipstick on my collar. Could be my dirty secret if we keep it undercover. Como salva? It's nice to meet you. You couldn't wait, so you said fuck me in the club. What made you walk my way? Was it my smile or my diamond rolling? You ain't seen nobody else in the place till you heard me say, Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va?
Aye sava, aye sava, aye sava,
Aye sava,
aye sava,
como ça va?
so easy, it just be body. So easy, it just be body. How unjan, como vai? Habari gani? Ni hao. Assalamu alaikum. Como estás, amigo? Namaste. Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va? Aye ça va, aye ça va, aye ça va, aye ça va, aye ça va,
Como ça va?
so easy, it just be body. So easy,
Itiwe sanbonani amba namachita sekreteti yapila ngana wena unjani ayiwena ngithi vele funani ayiwe zombi sanbonani amba namachita sekreteti yapila ngana wena unjani ayiwena ngithi vele funani ayiwe zombi sava sa sava sava ay tata
Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va? Aye ça va, aye ça va, aye ça va, aye ça va, aye ça va. Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va? Como ça va? Aye ça va, aye ça va, aye ça va, aye ça va, aye ça va. So easy, it just be body. So easy, it just be body.
Africa at Play with sports and music from an African perspective.
Since 1947, the matter never settle. You be what I be get to. Masability lo ya won lenu. Better recognize. Greatest of all time. No other name then go call mine. As I they chant it, I'm not nice. Monday, we start out. Tuesday, we start out. Wednesday, we start out. As long as I jalaba. And they call me the Godfather. Move like an Italian. Have you ever seen a nigga like mine? Each and every lady wanna give me mwah. When they smoke weed, when they smoke cigar. Now we there, I tryna move on. I know two basking solo man. I get high, adrenaline. You know like me, one no more. My guys is fun along. Cause my guys don't follow no. But the sky start falling down. Dirty my time. I'm still your daddy.
Olele fala, my pretty Malayami. I'm single, follow on me. Palcheti kala, wait for low, salam on me. Engine the bakalang on me. But alam on me. Wait for love on me. I take color on me. Could you go on me? Bakalang on me. My name is one of them. I give you my color, my body with all of me. Eat to bang as well. Yap, I eat all of Jiggy jiggy bang, tell solo on me. Wait for love on me. I'm a melu yestawa. Kalanga banga na matala. I'm a kiss, I'm a cause savana. Felis kule gulu taba. Shivirim, shiviram, shiviriviram she. Even if you boom, this pussy can play. So battle manga me. Yo yo.
Monday, Talama. Tuesday, Talama. Wednesday, Talama. As long as I jalaba. And they call me the Godfather. Move like an Italian.
Olele fala, my pretty Malayami. I'm single, follow on me. Palcheti kala, wait for low, salam on me. Engine the bakalang on me. But alam on me. Wait for love on me. Wait for love on me.
Jolabam remix by Tito M, Yupe and Snare featuring Benna Boy. This is Africa at Play. A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. Mamelodi Sundowns went down by 2-1 against Al Hilal of Sudan, and this match happened in Kigali in the Rwandan capital. And it is interesting to see that Al Hilal, originally from Sudan, but they currently playing in the Rwandan Premier League, rather, because of the ongoing civil war in their native country. And we say big ups to the Rwandans for accommodating them. They beat Mamelodi Sundowns yesterday in a much more important and crucial match of the ongoing CAF Champions League. They are based in Group C. And after yesterday's matches, 4 matches have been played. Al Hilal winning 2 and drawing 2. And they are now sitting on 8 points. Goals forwarded, they've scored 7, and goals against, they've conceded 5. While Mamelodi Sundowns, after 4 matches have been played, only 1 victory, 2 draws and a loss. Not looking so good for Masanda Wana. They are sitting on 5 points as second place behind Al Hilal. They have conceded 5 goals and they've scored 6. So Masanda Wana will still have to play Saint Eloi Lupopo as well as MC Alger of Algeria, who have each played 3 matches each. They are still going to play a match this weekend to be on par with the top 2 teams, Al Hilal and Mamelodi Sundowns. Miguel Cardoso, the mentor of Masanda Wana, a worried man about this match, but also blaming it on fatigue. However, he's looking forward to 2 competitive matches, wrapping up the group stages, looking forward to a position in the knockout stages. Let's find out how did it go in Kigali.
Welcome to the post-match press conference after the Total Energies CAF Champions League game 2025-2026 game between Al Hilal and Mamelodi Sundowns. Coach Miguel Cardoso, what are your thoughts after the game?
Good evening to all of you. Obviously not the best emotions after finishing a match like this, where obviously our intention was to gather the points that we needed to be in a more advantageous position towards the next 2 fixtures of the group stage. I think we made obviously what kind of game we had to play. We know very well our opponents. We know very well which are their strengths. We saw very well also the difficulties that MC Alger had here in the stadium. So we knew that it would be very important to have the capacity to control as much as possible the ball and the game with the ball. We knew that there would be spaces because this is a team that shortens very much to press one side of the pitch, that we had to take the ball to the other side, where from there we could attack and take the ball up in the pitch and install ourselves in the opponent's half pitch. And I think we started quite well the game. We also knew that compared to the first game in Pretoria, we would have to play against a more highly offensive line, the pressure would be higher. And because of that, we introduced players that can aggress the space. Basically, that's why we put it two players in the front. And I think we had indeed the best opportunities up to the 40th minute of the match, especially in the first 20 minutes. It was exactly what we predicted. Then there was a moment in the match that we started to, due to that pressure, to look for the space in the back of the defense too quick, throwing long balls, exposing ourselves, stretching our team. And because of that, we had more difficulties to control the game in this period. And we gave basically energy to our opponent, and we gave the game that they want to play. That is stretch the opponent and it leaves some players in the front that can then use the spaces, and that created instability on us. And unfortunately, in the last minute, it ended with a mistake from us that gave then an action from our goalkeeper that made a penalty. Obviously, I think we created enough to have a different result in the end of the first half, and then at the half time we needed to make some corrections, looking for exactly what we had to do, try to bring energy from the players on the bench. I think we were able to bring that energy, and we had again chances to score. I think it's clear we had a couple of chances to score. Even before the 2-0 we had situations to score. These kind of matches are very tricky because the level of the opponent is very high. It's high quality players in the front in this team of Al Hilal. High quality, very physical, very quick, very strong on contact, and our defenders had a struggle to play against them. So when you don't score your goals in the right moment, you can make suffer and have some bad moments, and indeed that loss of the ball in the middle allowed Al Hilal to score the second goal. Anyway, new players in, new energy. I think the team reacted very good collectively. We scored, and we have only to regret the goals we didn't score. I think these two games with Al Hilal, and I had the chance to speak with the coaches from Al Hilal, and the story is very simple. It's the goals that we didn't score in both game matches that in the end penalize us, obviously. And you cannot allow yourself to be two times, both in Pretoria and here, losing. There by 1-0, here even losing by 2-0, you cannot allow yourself that. Because you didn't convert your opportunities in goals and take the lead on the game, of course, then you put the game much more the way that Al Hilal likes to play, exposing ourselves in order to put numbers in the front and try to go for the goals that we needed, and obviously give you more spaces. And the last 15 minutes is obviously an open game, side and side. Everybody trying to score. We had to risk, and that's it. Unfortunately, we didn't do, and we have to take responsibility on the result, of course.
Photographers, your opportunity to take pictures is over unless you don't have the ticks on. We'll take questions from the floor. Your name, your media house. Yes, please.
Yes, good evening, Coach. I'm Neto Chemane from Mavete.com. And the match of today was too tough, and I would like to ask you the possible solution you are going to take as quick as possible, and what were the key factors made your team defeat? Thank you.
I think to your second comment, I think I already answered regarding I think we lost because we didn't cover those chances. This is clear. We had more than enough. If we exclude the last 15 minutes of the match where Al Hilal had several counterattacks because we had to risk, we had to expose ourselves, I think the game is the story of the game is obviously the opportunities that we didn't score. Al Hilal knows very well how to expose ourselves. They knew very well after taking the lead that dropping numbers and defending and then using their quick players that they have both left and right and in the front that they could arrive in our box. But basically, yeah, the chances that we had that were so many. I remember 3 in the first half and 3-4 in the second half, and you have to convert so that you can at least make a draw and then make the game a little bit more tactical and more balanced. And basically that's it.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I'm Joseph Vincent from Liberia, West Africa. Coach, a frustrating night for you tonight. Tell us, how do you plan to live your players' mentality going ahead in your next feature?
Thank you very much for the question. I remember last year we were unfortunately in a similar situation after the fourth match. We lost that match in Raja, the fourth match of the feature, and then we had a difficult match away that we played in Maniema in Congo. This time it's also a tough match to play in Congo against Lupopo, and that's what the team has to. Big teams have to look ahead. But before that match, we still have a cup match on Tuesday. Unfortunately, we played 3 days ago. That was also clear in a certain moment in the match that the team was much more tired than Al Hilal that just played against us. Despite we changed a few players in the team compared to the previous match, it was clear that we were tired. It's not. Despite it looks quite close, we had to make a trip where we had a stop. It was almost one day traveling, and it was clear at a moment that the team was a little bit tired, and you feel that by the number of mistakes that you do. But now is really time to go back home, see who can play the next match on Wednesday, not Tuesday, on Wednesday in the best conditions possible. It's a cup match that for us is obviously very important, and then after that we start thinking about Lupopo's match, of course.
Yes, please.
Afra Hassan from Sudanese Nadina. You are now playing outside Sudan and you continue achieving victories. What does this mean to you and for the team?
Yeah, we need to go to Congo where we're gonna play, and obviously play to win. It's an important match. We need to collect points. We cannot obviously risk nothing more than having the proper attitude in order to face that fixture. And in Congo, it will be a tough match, but tough moments for tough people, and we need to raise that attitude, get the proper energy, stay together, and look forward. I think the lesson from these last 2 games is unfortunately the number of goals that we could not score and the easy goals that we suffered. And when we suffer such easy goals, you cannot suffer in 2 matches 4 goals. It's not normal. So that's also an analysis that we need to do, of course, in how to avoid this kind of exposure. Because when you suffer 2 goals in the Champions League match, very difficult. You're gonna win the match. Maximum you can draw, even to draw is sometimes very difficult.
My name is Regan. I work for Rwanda Broadcasting Agency. I want to know, Coach, I think you miss your goalkeeper, Loni. How is his situation? Is he going to be available for the upcoming fixtures? Thank you.
Well, that is a good question for our medical department. In a moment, I cannot tell you when he will be available. It's not a long-term injury, but I think it's me, myself, in my mindset, I just worry about the ones that are present. I don't regret the ones that are not. I cannot think the game like that. In the previous match we played for our championship, Dennis had a fantastic save that gave us the opportunity to fight until the end and to win that match. I don't usually analyze the games in that way, because before the ball enters in the goal and any action from the goalkeeper, there are several actions from other players that lead to that moment that is a decisive moment. It's like when a team loses, there's no individual responsibility, and it's not always also only the coach that is responsible. That's a multiple responsibility that myself, as the leader of the group, I have to take it, of course. I'm the leader, but it's an analysis that we need to take deep so that we see what we did, the mistakes, and how we could have, obviously, most of all, be able to avoid the situation that we had, but mostly to convert our goals, because I repeat, the story of these two matches is the goals that we didn't score in the proper moment. And I remember the ball on the post from Tashri in the first half. There's one from Brian in the beginning of second ball. There's a cross and a heading that takes the shoulder. He's not able to touch on the inside the goal. So many situations that we had that could have given us even the energy to go for the third goal if we had scored, because the team would react and the opponent would feel our power and our capacity. But unfortunately, in these two matches, we were always below. We gave always the initiative in terms of result for the opponent, and we had to go fight against that. And that gives Al Hilal the comfort to play the way they want. Dropping numbers, they're very aggressive and compact and very physical. You know, it's a very physical team. And you expose yourself because you need to risk more in the front, and you give some opportunities to the opponent to make some counterattacks. And what demands a lot from our defenders, of course, that have to make long runs and breaks the game. And it's not exactly the way we are used to play, and the way you should play. And mostly, it's not the way that we can handle in the right way, because even physically, it's an effort that we are not used to do.
Yes. Coach Socrates from BW. And I wanted to ask on the previous game against Al Hilal, at the end of the game, a big number of fans of Mamelodi Sundowns in Pretoria were singing another coach's name, that's one team back. Do you feel that the fan base stand down?
You know something, there are a lot of, when a team loses, there's a lot of fans that ask the coaches to go back. I will not repeat or say, but there are also places where they lose, they call for my name. So it's good that people leave good memories in the clubs, and we should not regret or not respect the past, but also we should respect the present. And I already spoke in the press conference before this match about that. It's not a subject to speak much more. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Any more questions? Coach, lastly from here, where does this leave your campaign in the CAF Champions League?
Sorry?
Where does today's result leave your campaign?
Look, as I said last year, when I arrived in the club, we were in a difficult situation. We played the first match home. We won, then we went away and we lost. And after the fourth match, we had 5 points, exactly like now. Obviously, there's still a match to play on this feature. Let's wait and see what is going to happen. But for sure, it's tight. It's clearly tight. 5 points is not enough for enough. So we need to think that next game is very, very important. Probably still not decisive depending on the result, but for sure a very important one. So that then in the end, because I believe that with this result, probably this group stage for us will be decided in the last match. And obviously collecting points, 3 points in the following one, will allow us eventually to face that game in at least a little bit more comfortable situation, because today's result obviously is a very comfortable one.
Thank you so much, Coach. Obrigado.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
16:47 Central African Time. That was Miguel Cardoso, the mentor of Mamelodi Sundowns, reacting to their 2-1 loss against Al Hilal of Sudan, a match that took place in Kigali in the Rwandan capital, as Al Hilal temporarily plays their football in the Rwandan League because of the ongoing civil war in their native country. Let's update you about the Under-19 Cricket World Cup that is currently underway in Southern Africa, co-hosted by neighbors Namibia and Zimbabwe. Yesterday there was a match ODI 35-41 between Afghanistan Under-19 up against Ireland, and Afghanistan won by 191 runs. In another match, England Under-19 took on New Zealand, and England won by 65 runs. As we speak, a match that is currently underway is between Bangladesh and Zimbabwe, the host nation, and Bangladesh have posted 253 for 9 out of of 50 overs. And as it stands, Zimbabwe needs 145 runs in 17.2 overs to win this match, and I think it is achievable if they focus. Tomorrow action will continue between India under 19 and Pakistan. That action starts at 9:30. Then a match then on Tuesday it will be the semi-finals, where Australia have already booked a place in the semis, and we're still waiting for confirmation of who will join them. On Wednesday the 4th, the second semi-final will be between Afghanistan under 19 and a team to be confirmed, as there are still matches that are happening. This is Africa at Play, 16:50 Central African Time. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll find out what's coming up on Mix Vibration with the special lady Annie Kalonji.
Let's just do it.
Your life just got easier. Get the Channel Africa app and take us wherever you go. Catch the latest news, enjoy your favorite shows, stream the music you love, and stay connected to the continent. All in one spot, right in your pocket. Simple, quick, and always with you. The Channel Africa app. Download it now on iOS and Android. Channel Africa is evolving, and so are you. Stay connected wherever you are with our brand new website and mobile app. Stream your favorite shows, catch up on African news, culture, and conversations, all at your fingertips.
Africa is just a tap away.
Your world, your stories, now on the go.
Stay connected wherever you are.
Visit channelafrica.co.za or download the Channel Africa app today. Channel Africa, the African perspective. You heard something you like on Channel Africa and you would like to hear it again. Worry not, we've got your back. Just go to our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, and look for our podcast.
16:51 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play, and we can never say goodbye without finding out what's coming up on Mix Vibration with Annie Kalonji. Annie, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play. Bonjour.
Bonjour Neto, bonjour à tous les auditeurs du Channel Africa. Alors tout à l'heure, on se retrouve sur Mix Vibration, votre émission culturelle, votre émission des musiques, de détente du service français. Alors aujourd'hui, nous allons écouter de la musique, nous allons savourer de très belles chansons, n'est-ce pas, des artistes du continent. Et nous allons nous entretenir aujourd'hui avec un artiste très talentueux de la République démocratique du Congo. Il s'appelle Adrisha Tipo. Et chers auditeurs, je vous invite à rester connectés ou bien à vous connecter nombreux afin de suivre cette merveilleuse conversation que nous aurons avec lui. Merci beaucoup, Neto.
Merci beaucoup. Just stay tuned to Channel Africa from an African perspective. We are broadcasting to the world in 5 languages, in English, Chinyanja, Kiswahili, Portuguese, and French. Mix Vibration coming your way in the beautiful language of French. It is now 16:52 Central African Time. Let's update you about the upcoming fixtures of the 2026 Men's T20 World Cup that a lot of cricket fans, not just on the African continent, but globally, are looking forward to. It is kicking off next week, Saturday, on the 7th of February, and it is a match T21 of 55 between Pakistan and Netherlands at 7:30 a.m. Central African Time. Then on the same day at 11:30, match T22 of 55, West Indies taking on Scotland, with another match scheduled for 15:30 on the same day between India and USA. Then on Sunday the 8th, it will be New Zealand up against Afghanistan at 7:30 a.m. Central African Time. Then at 11:30, England takes on Nepal, while Sri Lanka will be up against Ireland at 15:30 Central African Time. Action will continue on Monday in the group stages. Still a match T27 of 55. Scotland up against Italy, while Zimbabwe will be up against Oman. And that match is at 11:30 Central African time. The Proteas of South Africa will take on Canada on Monday, the 9th of February. And of course, there will be more matches that are scheduled for different days. And we will continue to update you on those fixtures in tomorrow's edition of Africa at Play. Let's also look at the matches that are currently underway in the Premier League. Actually, most matches will only kick off at 5 p.m. Central African time. Leeds United taking on Arsenal, while Wolves will be up against AFC Bournemouth also at the same time. Then Brighton and Hove Albion takes on Everton at 5 p.m. Central African time. Chelsea FC, the Blues, up against West Ham United, the Hammers at 19:30 Central African time. Then at 10 p.m. it will be Liverpool versus Newcastle United. Then action will continue tomorrow between Aston Villa, the Villains, taking on the Bees, Brentford FC. Manchester United will be up against Fulham FC at 4 p.m. Central African time. Nottingham Forest, the Tricky Trees, takes on Crystal Palace also at 4 p.m. Then at 18:30 Tottenham Hotspur up against Manchester City, while on Monday it will be a wrap-up of the weekend that was between Sunderland FC and Burnley, and that match is at 10 p.m. Central African time. Thank you to my producer Andisiwe Fagimalu Zobona Mali, as well as Dumisilema, our social media guru, not forgetting Wendindlela, our audiovisuals specialist, and Tidimalo Tido Fabulous Makau, our sound engineer. And from the rest of the Africa at Play team, thank you for listening. My name is Neto, Neto Chemane. Hosiati konyangazi mumkhatsha phandle konjani moyane vuguvugu dendele. In Portuguese they say udia acima da terra é bom dia. A day above the ground is a very good day. Africa at Play, asteleli siyashaya. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.